Cubaan suara. Alamak. Terang pula. Cubaan suara 1 2 3, cubaan suara 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3, cubaan suara 1 2 3. Testing. Oh. Dah boleh ke? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum jami'an. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the 4th International Virtual Conference on Zakat, Waqf and Islamic Philanthropy ZAWFI 2020. Before we begin our ceremony, I would like to make a quick announcement for all members, audience in the day one, Muktamar 1, please remain silent. For all participants, you are invited to fill up the registration form attached in the Google Drive link at Facebook Live channel. Secondly, e-certificate will be sent to the participant via email given. Third, e-certificate for the presenters and Best Paper Award can be downloaded via the system at www.zawfi.com. Ebook sponsored by Jauhar as conference giveaway can also be downloaded at www.zawfi.com. All participants may also download the e-abstract of ZAWFI 2020 at the www.zawfi.com also. All participants are invited to type in the questions at the box comment during the second keynote speech session delivered by Datuk Dr. Mohd Daud Bakar, Chairman Shariah Advisory Committee of Permodalan Nasional Berhad session. To begin our session, let us together recite the Kitab and followed by the recitation of dua. Al-Fatihah. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanirrahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma ighfir lana dhunubana wa liwalidina warhamhuma kama rabbawna shighara wa li jami'il muslimina wal muslimat wal mu'minina wal mu'minat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa illam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana wa hab lana min ladunka rahmah innaka antal wahhab. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Amin amin ya rabbal alamin. To begin our session, let us together first and foremost, let us express our gratitude towards Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the creator of the universe, the most compassionate, the most merciful, for all of the blessings that bestowed upon us. Alhamdulillah. And the highest salutation, salawat and salam to our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, upon his household, his companions, and upon all Muslimat who follows them until the day of judgment. Yang Bersaudara, the Honorable Dr. Sri Mulyani Indrawati, Minister of Finance of Republic of Indonesia, Chairwoman of Indonesian Association of Islamic Economists, IAEI, the Honorable Emeritus Professor Datuk Dr. Insinyur Dr. Muhammad Azrai Kasim, Vice Chancellor, University Technology Mara UiTM, the Honorable Datuk Dr. Mohd Daud Bakar, Chairman Shariah Advisory Committee of Permodalan Nasional Berhad, the Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Nur Hidayah Muhammad Hashim, Dean of Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies ACIS, University Technology Mara UiTM, the Honorable Professor Dr. Insinyur Arnuno Nuriatono, Dean of Faculty Economics and Management FEM, Institute Pertanian Bogor IPB, representative of collaborative partners from NAMA Foundation, Permodalan Nasional Berhad PNB, Majlis Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan Mawib, UDA Holdings Berhad, Bahagian Zakat, Sedekah dan Wakaf UiTM, Koperasi Amanah Ikhtiar Malaysia, Jabatan Wakaf, Zakat dan Haji Jauhar, Center for Management of Wakaf, Zakat and Endowment, Wazan, Universiti Putra Malaysia, Center for Islamic Philanthropy and Social Finance, CIPSF, Ikatan Ahli Ekonomi Islam Indonesia, IAEI, Basnas Center of Strategic Studies Puskas Basnas, Institute Pertanian Bogor IPB, Mrs. Sharifah Fadlawati Said Abdullah, Director of ZAWFI 2020, committee members, presenters, and all participants. Once again, I am pleasure to be with you in this lovely morning for ZAWFI 2020 with the theme Philantrophy 4.0, model towards empowering Ummah with technology. My name is Muhammad Afiq bin Abdrazak and I am from Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, ACIS, UiTM, Shah Alam, will be your host for today's program at your service. Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin, let us purify our intention and niyyah for this session only for the sake of Allah. And for that, let us listen to the recitation of Al-Quran. For that, I would like to invite Dr. Hajar Opir for the recitation. Please welcome Dr. Hajar Opir. Tafaddal mashkura.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة والله يضاعف لمن يشاء والله واسع عليم. الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله ثم لا يتبعون ما أنفقوا منا ولا أذى لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. قول معروف ومغفرة خير من صدقة يتبعها أذى والله غني حليم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم بالمن والأذى كالذي ينفق ماله رئاء الناس ولا يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر فمثله كمثل صفوان عليه تراب فأصابه وابل فتركه صلدا لا يقدرون على شيء مما كسبوا والله لا يهدي القوم الكافرين. ومثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم ابتغاء مرضات الله وتثبيتا من أنفسهم كمثل جنة بربوة أصابها وابل فآتت أكلها ضعفين فإن لم يصبها وابل فطل والله بما تعملون بصير. صدق الله العظيم.
Sadaqallahul Azim. Thank you very much, Dr. Haja Ope, for the wonderful recitation. For your information, we are now broadcasting live on Facebook and also YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and share to everyone and spread the knowledge to all, inshallah. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we hereby welcome Yang Berbahagia, the Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Nur Hidayah Muhammad Hashim, Dean of Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies ACIS, University Technology Mara UiTM, to deliver the welcoming speech. Please welcome.
The Honorable Dr. Sri Mulyani Indrawati, Minister of Finance of Republic of Indonesia, Chairwoman of Indonesian Association of Islamic Economists, the Honorable Emeritus Professor Datuk IR Dr. Muhammad Azrai Kasim, Vice Chancellor, University Technology Mara, the Honorable Datuk Dr. Mohd Daud Bakar, Chairman, Shariah Advisory Committee of Permodalan Nasional Berhad, the Honorable Professor Dr. IR Arnuno Nuriantono, MSI, Dean of Faculty of Economics and Management, Institute Pertanian Bogor, representative of collaborative partners from Nama Foundation, Permodalan Nasional Berhad, Majlis Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan, Huda Holdings Berhad, Bahagian Zakat, Sedekah and Waqf UiTM, Koperasi Amanah Ikhtiar Malaysia, Jabatan Wakaf Zakat and Haji Jauhar, Centre for Management of Wakaf Zakat and Endowment UPM, Centre for Islamic Philanthropy and Social Finance, Ikatan Ahli Ekonomi Islam Indonesia, Basnas Centre of Strategic Studies, Institut Pertanian Bogor, Mrs. Sharifah Fadilawati Said Abdullah, Director of ZAWFI 2020, committee members, presenters, and participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, all praises be to Allah, by whose grace and blessings we are gathered here today at the 4th International Visual Conference on Zakat, Waqf and Islamic Philanthropy, or better known as ZAWFI 2020. Allow me to express the highest appreciation to all of our strategic partners that have contributed to the successful of ZAWFI 2020. Members of the organizing committee have worked very hard. I would like to thank and congratulate them for their dedication, time, efforts, and generosity to make this event a success. Next, I would like to welcome all participants, especially the scholars, intellectuals, presenters, and all those who are directly and indirectly involved in this seminar. Thank you so much for your involvement. We are delighted to have you with us to participate and share your research findings and experience in our 4th International Visual Conference on Zakat, Waqf and Islamic Philanthropy, ZAWFI 2020. For your information, ZAWFI 2020 is the 4th series following the success of first ZAWFI 2017 and second ZAWFI in 2018 and the third ZAWFI in 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, Islam has provided a holistic and comprehensive framework for resolving the issues of social inequality through the application of philanthropy. The philanthropy is one of the aspects of Islamic teachings on human care and social justice among human beings, and this kind of aspect is highlighted in ZAWFI 2020. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inspires us to do good deeds, as He says in the Quran. Indeed, Allah will admit those who have believed and done righteous deeds to gardens beneath which rivers flow. Surah Muhammad 12. Objectives of the ZAWFI 2020 are, first, to identify the contemporary models of Islamic philanthropy. Second, to share research findings on contemporary Islamic philanthropic models. Third, to strengthen professional and dynamic management and development. And the last one is to establish collaboration and smart partnership between universities and industries. I believe that this conference will be a valuable platform for exploring the methods, initiatives, and models to increase the public awareness and understanding on the value of zakat, waqf, and Islamic philanthropy in line with the objective of this conference. For the 4th time, the organization of ZAWFI 2020 has drawn the attention of the various parties. The organizers have successfully gathered more than 130 papers from different countries, including Malaysia and Indonesia. Research areas performed by the participants, including models and issues of zakat, waqf, infaq, hibah, will, sadaqah, fara'id, from broad perspectives such as law, innovation, application, and governance. Last but not least, I hope the organization of ZAWFI 2020 will continue in the future to strengthen the governance of zakat, waqf, and other Islamic philanthropy instruments to comply with Shariah guidelines and create trust among society to contribute. Finally, once again, a word of appreciation and congratulations to the Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, ACIS, and all collaborative partners for the successful organization of 4th International Conference on Zakat, Waqf and Islamic Philanthropy, ZAWFI 2020. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Nur Hidayah Muhammad Hashim, for the wonderful speech. For information, currently we have 182 viewers watching now on YouTube. Please do us a favor, a good favor, to share the YouTube live and also Facebook live to all your friends, to your family, to spread the knowledge to everyone, inshallah. Before we begin our next program, I would like to make an announcement that all participants are invited to fill up the registration form from the link given at YouTube Live. The e-certificate will be sent to the participant via email given. E-certificate for the presenters and the Best Paper Award can be downloaded via the system at www.zawfi.com. E-book sponsored by Jawhar as a conference giveaway can also be downloaded at the link given at the YouTube Live. All participants may download e-abstract of ZAWFI 2020 and submitted paper from the link also. And all the ZAWFI 2020 video presentation may be viewed at ZAWFI official website. Ladies and gentlemen, we are fortunate and honored to have a tremendous speaker, the Honorable Professor Dr. Insinyur Arnunung Nuryatono, Dean of Faculty of Economics and Management FEM, Institute Pertanian Bogor, IPB. He is coming long way from Indonesia, mashallah. Let's welcome. Before I proceed to the speaker, a little biography of the speaker. The education background of Dr. Insinyur Nunung Nuryatono. He holds a bachelor degree of agricultural economics from Bogor Agricultural University IPB Indonesia. He was awarded with master in the field of agricultural economics, Bogor Agricultural University IPB Indonesia, and he holds a PhD in the field of rural development from George August University of Göttingen, Germany. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Professor Dr. Insinyur Arnunung Nuryatono to deliver the welcoming speech. Please welcome.
Thank you very much, the Master of Ceremony, this international conference. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Ibu Sri Mulyani Indrawati, PhD, the Minister of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia, Chairwoman, Indonesia Islamic Economic Association. The Honorable Emeritus Professor Datuk Insinyur Muhammad Azrai Kasim, the Vice Chancellor of University Technology Mara, the Honorable Datuk Dr. Mohd Daud Bakar, Chairman of Shariah Advisory Committee of Permodalan Nasional Berhad, the Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Nur Hidayah Muhammad Hashim, Dean of Academic of Contemporary Islamic Studies, University Technology Mara, the representative of our collaborative partners from Nama Foundation, Permodalan Nasional Berhad, Majelis Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan, Huda Holding Berhad, Bahagian Zakat, Sedekah, dan Wakaf UiTM, Koperasi Amanah Ikhtiar Malaysia, Jabatan Wakaf, Zakat dan Haji, Center of Management of Wakaf, Zakat and Endowment, Center for Islamic Philanthropy and Social Finance, Basnas, Center of Strategic Studies, Puskas Basnas. Our colleague from IPB University and the Ikatan Ahli Ekonomi Islam Indonesia or Indonesian Islamic Economic Society. As well as Mr. Sarifah Fatiyawati Sheikh Abdullah, the Director of ZAWFI 2020 Committee member, presenter, and participants. First of all, let us praise to the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Because of His blessing, we are able to attend this very important conference, fourth international virtual conference on Zakat, Waqf and Islamic Philanthropy, or we name it ZAWFI 2020. Secondly, in this golden opportunity, I would like to extend you a very warm welcome. And I do really hope that you, your family, and communities are keeping safe and well amidst the pandemic of COVID-19. Of course, it is our honor to welcome all important keynote speakers, Ibu Sri Mulyani, that will be deliver the future of technology in philanthropy. Thank you very much, Ibu, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to attend this virtual conference, as well as the Emeritus Professor Datuk Inchur Muhammad Azrai Kasim, who also will deliver the second keynote speech. Islamic philanthropy is one of the pillars in economic development. Islamic is consists of zakat, infak, sedekah, and waqaf that aims to reduce poverty, inequality, to enhance social justice. And it is also can be the important mechanism to support economic growth. 3 days ago, our faculty through Islamic Economic Department just had another important conference called Social Finance and Achieving SDGs. Zakat, infak, sedekah, and waqaf is the important pillar to fulfill and also achieving SDG target. Islamic teaches the humankind that should utilize resources in sustainable manner, in accordance with the principle of justice, and to facilitate the continuity of quality of the human life. In this manner, technology has improved the access to certain digital platform. It is right in your hand and only one click away to make a donation. But it would be interesting to learn more about the future of technology in philanthropy, as well as with the dimension in educational and service-based form of Waqf. The fourth international conference is very important that should be followed by various actions that can have a big impact on development, civilization, as well as to make a better world. In the pandemic era, we really enthusiastic to collaborate, to share, to change the idea how the global citizen have a similar concern, to get a concern to work together and then to have a collaboration. Faculty of Economic and Management through Islamic Economic Department is ready to collaborate, synergy, work together to implement the important values of Islamic philanthropy. We are very proud to be part of the committee, to be part of the institution, to have the fourth international conference. Ladies and gentlemen, the Philanthropy 4.0 model toward empowering Ummah with technology. Hopefully, this topic will enrich and help us pass through the pandemic, which is having an effect on the life of everyone worldwide. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for all speakers, organizing committee to make this international conference happen and successfully. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Professor Dr. Insinyur Nunung Nuriantono, for the wonderful speech, inshallah. Right now, we have 200 Islamic philanthropists are watching on live on YouTube and our Facebook. Please, once again, please feel free to share the live video, our live video session, and to spread the knowledge to everybody, inshallah. Next up, we will present our ZAWFI 2020 video montage, this is very, very, very hard to get. And I believe that everybody is waiting for this moment. So without further ado, please enjoy our video montage. Yes, our video montage, please enjoy. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our montage for ZAWFI 2020. Before we next go to the next program announcement, I would like to make an announcement that all participants are invited to fill up the registration form from the link given at the YouTube Live. Secondly, e-certificate will be sent to the participant via email given. Thirdly, e-certificate for the presenters and best paper award can be downloaded via the system at www.zawfi.com. Ebook sponsored by Jauhar as a conference giveaway can be downloaded at the link given at YouTube Live, and all participants may download the e-abstract of ZAWFI 2020 and submitted paper from the link given at YouTube Live. And last but not least, all the ZAWFI 2020 video presentations will be available to be viewed at the official ZAWFI website. Ladies and gentlemen, for the next program, I would like to invite the Honorable Emeritus Professor, Datuk Insinyur Dr. Muhammad Azrai Kasim, Vice Chancellor, University Technology Mara UiTM, to deliver the opening speech. Please welcome.
Honorable Dr. Sri Mulyani Indrawati, Ministry of Finance of Republic of Indonesia and Chairperson of Indonesian Association of Islamic Economists. The Honorable Datuk Dr. Mohd Daud Bakar, Chairman Shariah Advisory Committee of Permodalan Nasional Berhad, PNB. The Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Nur Hidayah Muhammad Hashim, Dean of Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, University Technology Mara. The Honorable Professor Dr. R. Nunung Nuriantono, Dean of Faculty of Economics and Management, Institute Pertanian Bogor. Representatives of collaborative partners from Nama Foundation, Permodalan Nasional Berhad, Majlis Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan, UDA Holdings Berhad, Bahagian Zakat, Sedekah and Wakaf UiTM, Koperasi Amanah Ikhtiar Malaysia, Jabatan Wakaf, Zakat and Haji, Jauhar, Center for Management of Wakaf, Zakat and Endowment, UPM, Center for Islamic Philanthropy and Social Finance, Ikatan Ahli Ekonomi Islam Indonesia, Basnas Center of Strategic Studies, Institute Pertanian Bogor, Mrs. Sharifah Fadilawati Said Abdullah, Director of ZAWFI 2020, committee members, presenters, participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, all praise be to Allah, by whose grace and blessings we are gathered here today to confer and offer solutions to financial issues from the perspective of Islam. It is my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to all guests and participants and everyone to the 4th International Virtual Conference on Zakat, Waqf and Islamic Philanthropy, or better known as ZAWFI 2020. May your presence and active participation in this conference help towards greater understanding of various issues related to the management of Zakat, Waqf and Islamic Philanthropy, and ensure that their implementation complies with the requirements of Islamic law. Universities, together with the state Islamic religious councils and related institutions, need to strengthen the governance of Zakat, Waqf and Islamic Philanthropy. At UiTM, we are very committed to actively raising the quality of Muslim communities, particularly via the practice of Islamic philanthropy. We want communities, regardless of their backgrounds, to achieve a better standard of living. Hence, one of our tasks is to assist those in need and to cultivate the culture of philanthropy in new ways amongst us. With Philanthropy 4.0 model towards empowering Ummah with technology as the conference theme, institutions of higher learning such as UiTM have a central role to proactively manage the changes, utilize technology fully, be flexible, competent, and dynamic enough to adapt with new environments which come with new challenges as well. I urge participants at this conference to discuss at length strategies and initiatives to increase public awareness and understanding on how technology can widen the reach of Zakat, Waqf, and Islamic philanthropy. We need to demonstrate that economic growth of the Ummah can indeed happen and is able to sustain this country's economic development. Ladies and gentlemen, this conference could not have happened at a more opportune time. As economies the world over are reeling from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, let us contribute to the recovery effort by showing the world the possibilities for a more holistic and comprehensive economic framework based on Islamic guidelines, which could potentially usher in a new economic plan that is in line with current developments and demands. By gathering here today, we acknowledge that the power of working together far exceeds any individual effort, which is also a driving factor for Zakat, Waqf, and Islamic philanthropy to work. Indeed, efforts to sustain a collective economic system that is crucial to improve the socio-economic capabilities of Muslims through Islamic philanthropy was already initiated by UiTM back in 1998. Through a memorandum of understanding between UiTM and the Selangor Islamic Religious Council, MAIS, signed on May 9th that year, UiTM became the first public institution of higher learning in Malaysia to implement the localization of Zakat collection and distribution programs among its community. In fact, until 2019, UiTM managed to collect more than Ringgit Malaysia 85 million, which I've been told is the highest record of Zakat collection for a university, not only in Malaysia, but also worldwide. This collection has been distributed to those eligible for Zakat, also known as the Asnafs, among staff and students at UiTM. Alhamdulillah, more than 15,000 UiTM students have benefited from UiTM's Zakat distribution. This shows that appreciation of Islamic philanthropy is high among UiTM community, as well as further strengthen the relationship among UiTM staff via Zakat distribution to those in need, especially among the bottom 40. Ladies and gentlemen, we also need to ensure that the implementation of Waqf is implemented on a larger scale, harnessing technology to its advantage and not limited to contributing funds to only building mosques or grave sites. We need to immediately come forward to give sound justifications that Waqf should also be one of the main instruments of socio-economic development for higher education institutions to explore. Waqf in some parts is similar to the endowments in Western institutions like Oxford and Harvard, whose success in raking up billions in endowment we hope to emulate with Waqf. In this regard, we would like to see UiTM and other public universities in Malaysia to innovate and become the best models of Zakat and Waqf for higher education. As I've mentioned earlier, I hope that discussions presented here will be vigorously debated in order for us to see the implementation of endowment in higher education institutions, especially in Malaysia, be realized fully, as it can certainly accelerate the transformation of higher education. I look forward to the continuing organization of conferences such as ZAWFI to drive home the governance of financial policies that comply with Shariah guidelines and build trust to contribute funding among the community. Finally, a word of appreciation and congratulations to the Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, or ACIS, and all collaborative partners for their hard work and generosity to make this event a success. To all participants, may you have a rewarding intellectual discourse in this new exciting way of online gathering. On that note, and in the name of Almighty Allah, most beneficent, most merciful, I hereby officially open the 4th International Virtual Conference on Zakat, Waqf and Islamic Philanthropy 2020. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for Emeritus Professor Datuk Insinyur Dr. Muhammad Azli Kasim for the very inspiring opening speech. For your information, currently we have a whopping 256 viewers on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. So once again, I would like to invite to all of the viewers to spread, to like, to subscribe and share the YouTube Live and also Facebook Live, and spread the information to everybody, inshallah. Before we move on to the next program, I would like to make an announcement once again. First, all participants are invited to fill up the registration form in the link given at YouTube Live. Secondly, e-certificate will be sent to the participant via email given. Third, e-certificate for the presenters and best paper award can be downloaded via the system at www.zawfi.com. Ebooks sponsored by Jawhar as a conference giveaway can also be downloaded at the link given on YouTube Live. All participants may download e-abstract of ZAWFI 2020 paper on the link given on YouTube Live as well. All the ZAWFI 2020 presentations will be also available to be viewed at the ZAWFI official website. All participants are also invited to type in the questions at the box comment during the second keynote speech session delivered by Datuk Dr. Mohd Daud Bakar, Chairman Shariah Advisory Committee of Permodalan Nasional Berhad. And last but not least, all participants are kindly to fill up the ZAWFI 2020 evaluation form from the link available on the YouTube Live. Next up, we would like to invite for keynote speech the Honorable Dr. Sri Mulyani Indrawati, Ministry of Finance of Republic of Indonesia, Chairwoman of Indonesian Association of Islamic Economists, IAEI. But before that, I would like to present biography of the Honorable Dr. Sri Mulyani Indrawati. She was born in Tanjung Karang, Lampung on August 26, 1962. Sri Mulyani Indrawati earned her bachelor's degree in economics from the University of Indonesia, 1986. She then continued her study in the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, United States, and earned her master's science in policy economics in 1990, as well as PhD in economics 1992. On October 23, 2019, the Sri Mulyani Indrawati was reappointed as Minister of Finance in the second term cabinet of President Joko Widodo. Without further ado, I would like to invite the Honorable Dr. Sri Mulyani Indrawati to deliver the keynote speech entitled The Future of Technology in Philanthropy. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Honorable Emeritus Professor Datuk Insinyur Dr. Muhammad Azrai Kasim, as the Vice Chancellor, University Technology Mara, the Honorable Datuk Dr. Mohd Daud Bakar, the Chairman Shariah Advisory Committee of Permodalan Nasional Berhad, PNB, the Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Nur Hidayah Muhammad Hasim, Dean of Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies of University Technology Mara, the Honorable Professor Dr. Insinyur R. Nunung Nuryatono, MSc, Dean of the Faculty of Economics and Management Institute Pertanian Bogor, representative of collaborative partner from Nama Foundation, Permodalan Nasional Berhad, Majelis Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan, UDA Holding Berhad, Bahagian Zakat, Sedekah and Wakaf UiTM, Koperasi Amanah Ikhtiar Malaysia, Jabatan Wakaf Zakat and Haji, Center for Management of Wakaf, Zakat and Endowment, Center for Islamic Philanthropy and Social Science, Ikatan Ahli Ekonomi Islam Indonesia, Basnas Center of Strategic Studies, Institut Pertanian Bogor. Also, Mrs. Sharifah Fadilawati Syed Abdullah, Director of ZAWFI and Committee Presenter and Participant. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa syukurillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wala haula wala quwata illa billah. First of all, I would like to express my gratefulness to Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for His blessing, so that we are able to attend this conference in good health condition. Prayers and peace be upon Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It is a great pleasure for me to speak here in the International Virtual Conference on Zakat, Waqf and Islamic Philanthropy, or ZAWFI 2020. I would like to appreciate and congratulate all the committee and participants for work hard to conduct and to have this conference. From Malaysia, all parties comprising Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies and UiTM Shah Alam. From Indonesia, consisting IAEI, IPB, University and Basnas. And I hope that the event can strengthen the relationship between Indonesia and Malaysia, especially in developing Islamic economics. We are all now facing an unprecedented, extraordinary challenge of coronavirus COVID-19 that's spreading worldwide. This health crisis have a very severe and significant impact to the social, economic and financial condition. This pandemic also created a real serious restriction for people mobility that definitely will then affect with the economic and social condition. With the technology today, we are able to continue still doing some of our activity, including today's webinar and conference. Different from the previous global financial crisis or ASEAN financial crisis, which is mainly coming from the financial sector problem. Today, with the COVID-19, we are facing a serious threat to the safety and the security of the people because of this virus. And the nature of this crisis bring a totally different implication for the economy as well as the financial sector. That's why the response to deal and addressing this issue of COVID-19 also so different. Health and health priority definitely is going to be the most important one. Without bringing the COVID-19 under control, it is very difficult or almost impossible for us to restore the economic and prosperity of the people. So during this kind of situation, it is time for the Islamic social finance institution to also show its role as well as its important role that is allowing us to address the COVID-19 implication. Following the teaching of our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that all Muslims are brothers and sisters. In fact, all human beings, we are all brothers and sisters in humanity. So helping each other is a must. Solidarity and humanity, it's become the most important response at this very moment. We have to support others, especially those who need it. Religious Islam offers many ways to implement this support for those needed. That is through Zakat, Waqf, and Sadaqah. This is the philanthropic activity based on the teaching of Islam. This pandemic is becoming even more important for all of us to be able to provide and to show the philanthropic character of the Islamic community. How we are going to be able to support those needed when they are threatened by the COVID-19. Islamic teaching providing us with a strong foundation to create a society with the equality and prosperity. And this is the issue that is very relevant for our today's discussion. Facing with this unprecedented pandemic and the implication which is serious threatening people, the donation and collection of donation is going to be very critical. Many people maybe feel that their job is unsecure, and that's why we expect that some people will holding back their support to others. But for Indonesia, the most recent research by Forum of Zakat 2020 showing the interview result to 71 Zakat institutions, the increase in donation collection during Ramadan of this year in the middle of COVID is just a remarkable result. Comparing to the first semester of 2020 and 2019, the Center of Strategic Study or Puskas within Basnas found that 58% of 19 Zakat institutions experiencing a positive growth for the donation collected under Basnas. This is an increase of 46% collection to compare to 2019. This is a remarkable result as well as a proof that the Islamic teaching for those who care others and especially the need to show your compassion to the other human being is becoming one of the most important and valuable values of Islam. This phenomena is certainly also encouraging because many of the younger generation, they are showing the increasing interest to implement their religious value in a consistent way. Combining with the technology, the millennial can actually exercising and practicing their noble value by using a technology. Young people, the generation of millennial, and especially those whose middle class or even aspiring middle class, they are becoming more and more expressing their religious value in an inclusive and also supportive to others, which is encouraging for the humanity, for country, or for the world. At the same time, the trust to the institution who manage those contribution or philanthropic activity is becoming more and more critical. With the supply of donation, there is definitely the need to have a trusted, transparent, accountable institution that can then have the ability to be amanah. That is, they are managing the fund or donation in a responsible way. With the technology, it is also enabling Islamic philanthropic institution to collect many small amount of donation so that all Muslims will not constrain for them to be able to spare their part of their income and prosperity to then donate it in the form of zakat, waqf, or sadaqah. Technology is allowing those contribution and transaction in such a very efficient and a low cost way. Prophet Muhammad says that your smile to your brothers and sisters is actually also a sadaqah or charity. So you can show the kindness not only in the form of money contributed or donated. Even a gesture of kindness through smile has been treated and recognized as the form of sadaqah or charity. So for all of us living in a today's situation, we should use this momentum of the excitement and aspiration of many younger generation that want to show and follow the Islamic value in the most inclusive, that is allowing the humanity and the showing of the compassion as the attribute of the Islamic values. Technology is going to be able to facilitate this growing interest and growing passion or compassion of many younger generation to be able to donate what they think is precious in their life for the interests and to care others who's needed. The philanthropic activity is going to grow with the growing middle class and increasing prosperity of many developing and emerging countries, including here in Indonesia. And we do hope that technology will allowing this growing middle class that can exercise and implement their Islamic value to help others to be able to be facilitated in the most efficient way. Big data analysis can also provide us with identifying the potential of this philanthropic activity in the form of zakat, waqf, or sadaqah. This is going to help people to know whether the money that they contributed is going to really help others. Technology will allow them to also create transparency and accountability, and hence building trust and confidence to the institution. Another aspect of technology in Islamic philanthropy should be considered is the compliance of Shariah rule. The next generation technology, such as robotic process automation, artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things, will dominate the next industrial revolution. Having so many variations of available technology, it is hard to ascertain which instrument will be best suited to support the Islamic social finance sector. We have zakat and waqf, which need to be implemented strictly according to the Sharia rule. But this need not to be a constraint for us to use technology. It is the duty of Islamic scholar and practitioner to understand the implication of using technology in Islamic economic transaction. We do believe that Islamic value and teaching is continue relevant. It is really up to us to continue implementing and adapting this teaching within the context of technological change. It should not become a constraint, but should become an opportunity for us to be able to use technology to practice Islamic value, still consistent with the Islamic teaching. Distinguished speaker, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Islamic values encourage us to have and to continue maintain solidarity within the society. The teaching of Islamic value, and as a Muslim, is not only to see the charity, but also to make sure that the society is going to prosper in a fair and just way. By implementing Islamic economics, we also need to develop a mindset to follow these values in the form of our lifestyle. COVID-19 providing us with the real challenge whether we are becoming part of the society who responsible and cares for others. So following health protocol is one of the ibadah, because we show our care and concern to the safety of others. This kind of cooperation is going to be one of the important solidarity of humanity to deal with the COVID-19. In Indonesia, we know the solidarity in the name of, or in the terms of, gotong royong, the mutual cooperation. The nation with Muslim society as majority is also as a top for the social and civic participation is been actually captured in the Lekatum Prosperity Index. that is, who's the country who actually most generous. This is showing that the society doesn't have to be a rich country, but whether they have the value of generosity and compassion to others. In the World Giving Index, which is measured and issued by Charity Aid Foundation 2018, showing that the Muslim society have the tendency to be more generous and caring. So we all know that this COVID-19 is a test from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to the humanity. We are all need to be together to deal with these consequences. I'm personally glad that the theme of ZAWFI conference today is going to emphasize and look more on advancing Islamic philanthropy with technology. This topic is certainly very timely and relevant in dealing with today's situation. Maximizing social capital within Muslim society and developing social finance institution that is comprehensive and creating an ecosystem for the society to be able to express their value, combining with technology, is going to be very critical. Therefore, I will expect a discussion which is productive as well as creative and innovative for all of you in terms of how we are going to be able to continue, strengthen and develop Islamic institution that is continue relevant with the modern world, with the changing of the technology, but still fundamentally consistent with the Islamic teaching. I hope you are all is going to have a very productive and useful discussion. Thank you so much. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Dr. Sri Mulyani Indrawati, Minister of Finance of Republic Indonesia. We are so honored, we are so blessed to be to have a prominent speaker, a very prolific speaker to be with us today. And for your information, Dr. Sri Mulyani is also one of the best Minister of Finance in Asia Pacific 2019. Once again, I would like to invite all the participants to share our YouTube live and also Facebook live. We are currently now having 328 live viewers on stream online. So please feel free to share our live video to everybody and spread the information, inshallah, to everyone, inshallah. So from the comment section, we have current viewers from UiTM Lendu, Ustaz Muhammad Noor. Alhamdulillah, thank you very much for viewing us for today, to having us. Ahmad Ibn Sa'ad, UiTM Penang, clear. Alhamdulillah, clear. Shah Alam also clear. Wan Hasana, Alhamdulillah, Subang clear. Yeah, Subang clear, Alhamdulillah. And also we have a viewer from Sekolah SMK Jengka Pusat, SMK JP. Assalamualaikum. Saiful Faizal, PPFI UiTM Pahang clear. Alhamdulillah. We have broadcast this live, and to all Malaysia, please feel free to share our Facebook live and also YouTube live, inshallah. So next up, we would like to present a video presentation, a corporate video presentation from our collaborative partners. Please enjoy the video.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Future sustainability is very important terminology, which is the topic of the day, as well as it is the slogan of NAMA Foundation as well. Future sustainability will not be achieved unless we collaborate as whole stakeholders, NGOs, government, as well as private sector, and with more empowerment programs, and not just only like mere interventions, but more sustainable empowerment to achieve sustainable impact. That requires a lot of localizations as well as customizations to our interventions to ensure that we empower the local communities on the ground in the areas of education as well as third sector.
Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy our video presentation just now. We also like to thank Dr. Razali Osman from Wazan for watching us on live right now currently. Okay. Before we begin the next program, I'd like to make a quick announcement. First of all participants are invited to fill up the registration form from the link given at YouTube Live. E-certificate will be sent to the participant via given email. Thirdly, e-certificate for the presenters and best paper award can be downloaded via system at www.zawfi.com. E-books sponsored by Jauhar as conference giveaway can also be downloaded at the link given in the YouTube Live. All participants may download the e-abstract ZAWFI 2020 and submitted paper also from the link given at the YouTube Live. All the ZAWFI 2020 video presentations are available to be viewed at the official ZAWFI website. All participants are invited to type in the questions at the box comment during the second keynote speech session delivered by Datuk Dr. Mohd Daud Bakar, Chairman Shariah Advisory Committee of Permodalan Nasional Berhad. And last but not least, kindly fill up the ZAWFI 2020 evaluation form from the link given at the YouTube Live comment section, inshallah. Okay. Next program, we would like to invite the Honorable Datuk Dr. Mohd Daud Bakar, Chairman Shariah Advisory Committee of Permodalan Nasional Berhad PNB, to deliver the second keynote speech entitled Philantrophy in IR 4.0, Sustainability and Empowering of Ummah. Without further ado, I would like to invite the Honorable Datuk Dr. Mohd Daud Bakar to deliver the speech. But before I pass to the Datuk, just a quick reminder. I will pick 3 questions from the comment section, and then I'll be deliver the question to Datuk to address, inshallah.
Okay.
Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Alladhi bini'amatihi tatimmu salihat. Wassalatu wassalam ala nabi ar-rahmah wal huda Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in amma ba'd. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, the Honorable Ibu Dr. Sri Mulyani, the Minister of Finance, Republic of Indonesia, Yang Berbahagia Emeritus Professor Datuk IR Dr. Muhammad Azra'i Kasim, the Vice Chancellor University Technology Mara UiTM, Yang respected Professor Dr. IR R. Nunung Noryatono, the Dean of Faculty of Economics and Management, FEM, Institute Pertanian Bogor, all the sponsors and collaborators, ladies and gentlemen, sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I'm both humble and honored to be invited to say a few words in this ZAWFI Conference 2020. We are very delighted to have listened to voice of wisdom, word of wisdom, insights from the Honorable Dr. Sri Mulyani, one of the best finance mind in this part of the world, And surely we have benefited a lot from her futurist outlook and her ambition to see that the philanthropic activities are sustainable, are beyond the borders, are impactful for the whole community. What more when faced with the COVID-19, which is one of the unexpected tribulation which is facing the entire community of the world. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm supposed to speak on the technology and how does the technology help in spearheading and in making the philanthropy activities more awesome, more transparent, more reliable. And in fact, philanthropy could be one of the main fundamental of the modern community. As much as we struggle a lot in the past to initiate the meaning and the importance of zakat in our Islamic community, I think the government, the private sector, the NGO, they have been working very hard to impress on the Muslim population to contribute to zakat, which is a very annual kind of obligation. We cannot be content, be happy, be comfortable, not to focus on the other dimension of philanthropic activities in addition to zakat. As far as I'm concerned, I have seen from the Quran, from cover to cover, what is more important in the whole space of philanthropic is not zakat. Zakat is very much limited, is very much prescribed, and very much limited to those who are able to pay zakat, who have something extra so that they can give away to the beneficiaries. But if you were to read the Quran from cover to cover, word by word, you can see the high frequency of philanthropy, which is more alarming compared to the zakat obligation. And that includes the sadaqah, the infaq, which is very broad meaning of giving away your charity, your money, your time, your effort. The will, I mean, for you to write the will for the outsiders when you were to pass away. And in fact, in the past, the will has become a very predominant in helping the community. The hibah, outright gift, conditional or outright gift that we can initiate, and nazar, kind of your commitment to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give away something to Allah for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you compare zakat to the other philanthropic activities, surely the other activities are all year around that could be make use and can be leveraged to help our community. Zakat is very much limited to the payers and to the beneficiaries. But when it comes to the other philanthropic activities, it is limitless. What is limitless in Islam is much more powerful than something which is limited. Limitless is always the idea of Islam. When we have the mind is limitless, you can innovate, you can explore so many things. So the moment we are limitless, then we can think of something which is beyond our imagination. When it comes to the technology, which is the topic of today, and Honorable Minister has mentioned about technology, how important technology is. And surely some of the writers, they were inclined to describe technology as disruptive, that disrupt the current practices of the modern world. I have a contrarian point of view, because technology is not destructive. Technology brings about something that we need most, something that will make our processes cheaper, quicker, smarter, and more transparent and impactful. And this is the future of the industry, the future of the world. The world is moving towards something which is quicker, faster than before, faster, of course, and smarter, more intelligent when we have technology embedded with big data and artificial intelligence. What more in the future, we can have the nanotechnology where we can see the real 1 rupiah or 1 ringgit that we have donated, so we can see the impact measurement all the way to the recipient and also to the ecosystem of the recipient. So we are moving towards that. Yes, at the moment we are very much limited to big data and analyzing the pattern of the industry, how much to give, where to give, what kind of charity that we need to give cash or in kind of services. This is the work of big data, so that we are able to give the right contribution to the right people at the right time with the right impact. And this is what AI can do a lot. But the moment we see in the medical world, the nanotechnology, where the medicine can be created that can give the impact not only on the surface of the skin, the surface of the illness, but all the way to the source, to the root of the problem, that will resolve the issue of medical as we speak. But the same can be applied to the financial world, where we have $1 that we have, 1 ringgit or 1 dirham or 1 rupiah for that matter. We can make it more impactful and more going through to the right people at the right time, at the right place. In fact, in the case of Malaysian government, for example, I'm sure in the Indonesian and many other government of the day, we have seen the activities of giving cash to the people does not work that much, where people are not being trained to use the cash effectively. More often than not, the cash has been used to buy and to spend on something which is not important in the hierarchy of their life, and that will affect the impact of the donation to the people. Nowadays, we can have the issue of e-wallet, for example, where we can have the money, sorry. Where we can channel the contribution through goods and services, where the beneficiaries are not given cash anymore. They are given a kind of e-wallet so that they can spend the money according to the goods and services which might be more useful to them. So this is something that we have seen even in the past, in the time of Ottoman, in the time of Umayyad Empire, where the salaries of the workers are not given in cash. They are given in the form of sok check, or sokul bada'ah, the certificate of groceries, where the government can monitor how much they spend in terms of certain assets, so that they can benefit them sugar-wise, salt, dates, flour, and so on and so forth. So this is something that we can control the impact of the charity to the community. We can't do this without technology, because we cannot control the effective utilization of the cash without putting in the element of technology. I have to say that technology has become very dear, very close to our Shariah inspiration. Many things we cannot do without having the good quality of technology. The technology has made our Shariah more real, more transparent, and more auditable. We can make the Shariah very much auditable as we move forward. And this is what Shariah is all about. Shariah should be transparent, who receive it, how much, the time of, the money being spent, in which area of the sector, how did he spend the money, and what would be the impact of the money that he has spent to his upbringing of his family. So all in all, technology has become a great gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I do believe that anything in this world has it's not wasted. It's up to our Islamic communities, the scholars, intelligentsia, the professors, the NGO, the government, the private sector, to really put our mind together. How could we put the ultimate, the supercomputing capabilities to monitor our waqaf and our sadaqah and our zakat more efficiently, so that we know exactly what would be the potential of waqaf and zakat. In fact, we can smell who are the potential zakat payers. We can smell, we can predict, we can put a kind of prediction who are the potential donors, potential founders of waqaf and potential zakat payers, if you like, in the community. Because when we do the big data analytics, we can do three things basically, which other system cannot do. We can basically predict, or we can predict. We can also prescribe. Basically, we can predict what will happen, and we can prescribe what are the methodologies, what are the solutions that can bring to the society. At the end of the day, Mr. Moderator, I think we have been talking a lot about zakat and waqaf and philanthropic. And in my forthcoming book, I have purposely mentioned that philanthropy is one of the maqasid al-Shariah. Because if you read the Quran, you cannot miss the very important theme of philanthropy. It has become the common theme of the Quran from cover to cover. So philanthropy should be uplifted and should be brought forward to become one of the maqasid al-Shariah. And for that, if I may suggest to the Malaysian government, Indonesian government, and many other Islamic communities, perhaps we can propose to have an international agency of philanthropy, so that it become a new setup owned by many Islamic countries, managed by supercomputing capabilities, embedded with big data analytics, so that every single cent, every single rupiah, every single ringgit is being monitored, and we can have the robo accountant, robo CFO, and robo analysts to measure the impact of this philanthropy. We have been talking a lot already, so we need to have a new action, a new way forward to make sure that our philanthropy idea, our philanthropy, big grand design is something that we can be proud of. And surely when people see the transparency, when people have the trust in their mind, because the trust is a new equity, we need the trust to become a new equity, because money, yes, is very important equity, but the moment we can couple money with trust, confidence, I think we can do more. And inshallah, whatever mentioned in the Quran is not of waste, it has the impact. And the only problem is to convert the whole idea of philanthropy in many dimensions of waqaf, sadaqah, zakat, and what have you, to become a very powerful, transparent, impactful device to help the Islamic community everywhere in the world. I think with that, I would like to thank the organizer for having me in this conference. Hopefully, we can meet up again with a more solid and concrete proposal to to make sure that the Waqaf is a living organism on this planet. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh, and thank you very much, Datuk Dr. Mohd Daud Bakar, for a very mind-opening and mind-challenging as well for the speech. I think we go to the Q&A session, Datuk. Okay. Okay. First question for Datuk, coming from our viewers in the live chat. From Ziauddin Sharif, Assalamualaikum Datuk. What is the current status of Bitcoins according to Islamic point of view?
Yeah, I think Bitcoin and the other digital currency like Ether and Ripple, from my perspective, personally, in the last 2 years, I have viewed the Bitcoin and the Ether as a commodity. They are not currency. They could be used as currency to buy things and goods and services, but they are not meant to be the currency of the country. They are very much a token, so that people can use the Bitcoin to buy or even to invest. When the demand and supply goes up or goes down, the valuation will change accordingly. So as far as I'm concerned, in my research in the last 2 years, I have viewed that Bitcoin and Ether or Ethereum are two compliant assets that can be used as a commodity, as investment, as well as can be used to buy and sell. In my technical words, I have seen or I have viewed Bitcoin and Ether as commodities, but not amounting to currency. Because in this world, some of the commodities, they are not currency, but they can be used as currency. Stamp, for example, in many parts of the European countries, they buy and sell using stamp, the old stamp, because the stamp has some value in the community. So some token, for example, your mileage when you travel, on the flight, you are credited with some point. That point can be used to buy goods and services, but those points are not currency. They are commodities that can be converted into goods and services. So this is my point of view. Perhaps the other scholars have their point of view. And recently, the Securities Commission of Malaysia, here in Malaysia, we have endorsed officially that those assets are commodities that can be traded, can be sold without being subjected to any prohibition of riba, because they are not currency. They are very much commodities that you can buy and sell, or in fact, you can use commodities to buy another commodity or another services in the market.
Okay, thank you very much, Datuk. Okay, next questions coming from Mahyudin Khalid. Assalamualaikum. Soalan kepada Datuk. Adakah terdapat halangan undang-undang dan fatwa tertentu dalam penggunaan teknologi untuk memperkasakan bidang filantropi Islam di Malaysia, sebagai contoh aplikasi cryptocurrency?
Saya merasa tidak. I don't see there's a prohibition, because as long as you are compliant to the laws of the country, you have to make it transparent. You have to register your system with the Bank Negara and Securities Commission. In fact, transparency is much more appreciated through technology, because you can trace the source of money. In fact, you are in the better position to fight against AMLA, the money laundering, because everything will be very transparent. Everything cannot be changed, and nothing can be hacked, because the technology of they call it ledger distribution, where anything to be done to the system, you have to have the consensus of all the miners around the globe. So it's up to your creativity to encourage philanthropy using the blockchain and what have you. In fact, this is the time, because in the past, people might have some problem of trust in some part of Zakat and Waqf and what have you. But by having the blockchain, where everything is real time, and you can see the movement of money from one person to another real time, and you can see how much money being collected, where the money being spent, and who are the recipient. I think by having this kind of technology through blockchain, the trust and the sentiment of the people surely will go up, and this is the way forward. In fact, Al-Quran is always about transparency, being open, being honest, and being sharing and be caring with everyone. So I have the strong feeling that the blockchain can push the philanthropy much more faster and can bring the philanthropy to a greater heights in no time.
Okay, thank you very much, Datuk. And one final questions coming from our viewers, Muhammad Najib. The increase of cybercrime cases somehow retard the support of our citizen in digitalized Islamic philanthropy. What is your point of view, Datuk, to solve this aroused problem?
Okay, yeah, we are aware of the cyber, security problem. Many of the system has been breached, has been compromised, and a lot of money, ton of money have been misappropriated, have been stolen from the account. I'm not the expert on the technology, to be honest, but the little I know about blockchain, the blockchain is something that people cannot hack until now. What has been hacked thus far is the platform, the exchange, where people trade the trade the Bitcoin or Ether for that matter. But the very system of blockchain, I have not heard the system has been hacked by anyone, because you have to collaborate with all the miners, with all those who are controlling the system for them to change the account from my account to your account. And that is quite impossible to do. And this is something that we are confident the blockchain cannot be hacked. If I may refer you to the analogy of hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have a category called hadith ahad, where the hadith can be transmitted by one person only. So one person, he might forget, he might, he might not be able to memorize properly. But when the hadith has been transmitted by three transmitters all the way, from the companion all the way to the compiler, this is called hadith mutawatir. Hadith mutawatir is something which is beyond any manipulation, because we have more than two, which is 3 and above, and it's not easy to find any manipulation for mutawatir. The same goes to blockchain. We have 100 and 200, they call it the recorder, the one who went to verify, the verifier. We have to go through the process to change any word, any name, any amount, any figure, and that is so good about this technology that will make the technology unhackable thus far. We have heard many, platform has been hacked because they are the platform, not the blockchain itself, but the platform to buy and sell Ether and Bitcoin in Japan, in Korea. Somehow, unfortunately, they have been hacked because due to the low technology of the system, unlike the blockchain technology. Hopefully, that can take away some of the worries of some of us when it comes to the digital technology and digital assets moving forward.
Thank you very much, Datuk, for answering the questions. Actually, it's very interesting because technology, we doesn't really know for next 5 years, 10 years, maybe for now, the technology is very alien to many of people, but next 5 years, 10 years, it may be a new normal for everyone and to embrace, of course.
I think nowadays during the the refugee camp in many parts of the world, many big organizations, they started giving the help through this coin, no more through dollar or euro or even any other currencies. They created their own coin so that the coin can be used by the refugee, so that they can track how does the refugee use the money, the coin, to buy what? Blanket, vaccination, medicine, for their education, for their children. So by having that system, the agency can effectively monitor the effectiveness of the help, the financial aid by many big organizations of the world. If you were to use the normal currency, you cannot track and you cannot see the impact. But this kind of coin, they have invented in many parts of the world by Red Cross and many other organizations, and this is the way forward. You know where the money goes and how the impact would be on the refugees and the ecosystem of the business in the refugees camp in many parts of the world.
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Datuk. Because of we have a very big high traffic on our YouTube live, so I would like to ask permission to Datuk. Can we have another 2 more questions?
Please.
From the floor.
Please, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Another question. As we know, Waqf has long existed. However, various challenges in revitalize it as a source of funding for Ummah. As one who follows this development, a part of ICT, as you mentioned, I am sure one of the challenges we overlook also is marketing. With the strength of marketing knowledge, especially integrated marketing communication, can change the minds of today's society. Waqf is not just a graveyard, mosque, and religious school, but it is more than that. Can you comment on this, Datuk? From Dr. Razali Osman, Wazan, UPM.
I cannot agree more with that statement. I think the marketing is very poor, and many people tend to look into Waqf and the substandard of charity. In fact, Waqf for me is much more powerful than Zakat, because Zakat is very limited, is very seasonal, and there are many limitations of Zakat. Zakat is prescribed by Allah Subhanahu wa Taala according to the certain bandwidth. But Waqf is unlimited. I mentioned just now, anything which is limitless would transform the society faster than something which is limited in nature. I have worked with the Majlis Agama Islam Singapura, MUIS, through their subsidiaries Waris, to develop the first ever sukuk to develop Waqf in the Orchard Street and the Bencoolen Road, to develop 5-star service apartment together with the mosque, together with the school, and in fact we have used leverage. The Waqf has borrowed the money using the leverage to get another 27 million Sing dollar, and our cash Waqf is around 9 million Sing dollar, if I can recall well. We combine the two, we develop 5-level unique service apartment right smack in the city of Singapore. The return of this service apartment can cover most of the mosques in Singapore. Of course, we have to pay the rental, the ijarah for sukuk for 5 years. That is part of the financing and leverage, but after 5 years, we own everything and it become our property. And Alhamdulillah, the impact of that Waqf is much more impactful compared to small shop building and small officer here and there, because the income is so limited compared to the big investment in the city of Singapore, using the leverage, using a tamwil, using the sukuk ijarah. Oversubscribed, after all, by all the Chinese banks in Singapore, oversubscribed 6 and 7 times, because they see the potential of this sukuk in Singapore. That's why we need to do more marketing. Waqf for shipping, Waqf for hospital, Waqf for education, Waqf for even for water irrigation in Sabah, Sarawak, and Waqf for power plant for those who cannot have the electricity from the grid, so they can have solar power connected to their house for their children education. So Waqf is so huge, and we hope we can do more marketing to unlock the mindset which is closed in some of the Muslim mind.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Datuk. One last question, last but not least, Datuk.
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum, Datuk. In the era of IR 4.0, where big data and blockchains are being used to tap financial resources and to manage financial assets more efficiently, in your opinion, Datuk, could there be possibility for Waqf assets to be tapped and managed using technology, owing to the fact that in our country, the sole owner of Waqf asset is the SIRC of states in Malaysia. From Professor Dr. Siti Khadijah Abdul Manan. Yes.
SRC, I'm not following the meaning of SRC. But perhaps I can understand in general that Waqf, as we speak, has not been digitalized as yet. Okay, in Malaysia, perhaps, I'm not sure about Indonesia and many other Islamic countries, the best Zakat administration still in Kuwait, in the state of Kuwait, but I have not seen that Waqf has been digitalized, meaning to say we can press the button and we can see the distribution of Waqf, where and the value, who are the trustee, what would be the potential businesses over there. So by and large, Zakat has not been digitalized, and for that we need to do more. We have to, as you know, technology is start from the word digitalization. This is the first part. We have to digitalize. From there, we can put in smart technology of the big data and AI and nano, and that will make the whole thing moving forward. Without having the basic technology, we digitalize everything, then we cannot move forward. Even the Quran, we need to digitalize the Quran. We need to digitalize the Sunnah of the Prophet so that we can find words and find the messages and find the high frequency cheaper and faster. We have not done that as we speak today. So in the case of Waqf, Zakat, Sadaqah, and what have you, I think the best effort, perhaps we can have some Waqf from people to digitalize the Waqf asset in respective country and beyond our own country, so that we can see the potential of Waqf moving forward. I hope that this conference can initiate the interest of working together and to make Waqf digitalized, the sooner the better.
Thank you very much, Datuk Mohd Daud Bakar, for the question and answer session. And I would like to thank also our audience, our viewers live on YouTube Live, on Facebook Live for the questions, inshallah. Okay, because of the time constraint that we are facing right now, I think we would like to end the session for this keynote speech. Thank you once again, Datuk Mohd Daud Bakar, for being with us in this lovely morning. Inshallah, I myself will having upcoming book from Datuk, because I'm also one of the Datuk fan. Okay, inshallah, philanthropy is one of the maqasid Shariah. It's a very interesting idea from Datuk, inshallah.
Thank you very much. Shukran.
So thank you for all the speakers for opportunity to be with us in today. Hopefully that we can collaborate in near future, inshallah. Moving on to the next session, we will go into the best paper award presentations, which I will pass the floor to Ustazah Ulfa Mansoura to deliver deliver the session. But before that, we'd like to present a video. So please enjoy the video, inshallah.
UDA Holdings Berhad, we have over 4 decades experience in commercial and residential property development and asset management throughout Malaysia. We have been primarily involved in the development of new townships, public housing, recreation facilities, hotels, commercial centers and industrial premises which are from affordable to luxury. At UDA, we are committed to building a sustainable future together.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all the audience of the 4th International Virtual Conference on Zakat, Waqf and Islamic Philanthropy, ZAWFI 2020. Joining us today live through YouTube UiTM channel and the official Facebook of ZAWFI 2020. I am Ufa Masura Piti Zainuddin and today I will be the moderator for the next session, which is the Best Paper Award presentation. First and foremost, I would like to express my appreciation on behalf of the organizing committee for joining today virtually, and thank you for staying with us for this session. Before we start, I would like to briefly explain the flow of this session. So 10 papers has been selected by the committee for the Best Paper Award, and the author of the best papers will be presenting through the video which has been prepared by them earlier, and every presenter will be presenting their video for the maximum of 7 minutes. Thus, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you 10 Best Paper Award of the 4th International Virtual Conference on Zakat, Waqf and Islamic Philanthropy, ZAWFI for year 2020. Thank you for the video presentation, and I would like to congratulate the 10 Best Paper Award which is being selected. Okay, without further ado, we will proceed with the first presentation. Okay, and I would like to introduce the first presenter. Okay, so the first presenter is Mrs. Nur Hidayah binti Zainal from Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, ACIS, University Technology Mara UiTM Shah Alam. Okay, so Mrs. Hidayah is basically my colleague. Okay, right. So the title of her presentation today is The Corruption and Economic Growth in Sub-Saharan African Countries, and Empirical Analysis. With that, let's give our full attention to Mrs. Hidayah's presentation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to everyone. I am Nur Hidayah binti Zainal. Will be presenting today on the topic of the corruption and economic growth in sub-Saharan African countries and empirical analysis. This paper is a major work of my professor, Professor Dr. Jarita binti Duasa from the Department of Economics, Nasional Islamic University Malaysia. I, the presenter today, Nur Hidayah binti Zainal from the Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, ACIS UiTM, together with another co-author, Brother Muhammad Salim Muhammad from the Graduate School of Management, Nasional Islamic University Malaysia. So this is the outline of my presentation. I will start the discussion with the introduction and the objective, thirdly the data and methodology. We will go to the findings and analysis, and finally I will conclude. As an introduction, according to Transparency International, the Corruption Perception Index, the CPI for Sub-Saharan Africa, give an average of 32 score, which is the problem of corruption there ranging from a small scale of petty bribery, money laundering, out to the extent of political issues, which is according to Transparency International 2019. These petty bribes have a corrosive effect on basic institutions and undermine public trust in the government. Over half of East Asians paid bribes to access public services that should have been freely available. So according to this report, police and the judiciary are two major services prone to bribery, as the people believe it is the only way to access the services and hasten it, according to the Transparency International 2017. Islam do not accept the practice of corruption. This is an evidence seen in various of surah. For example, within the ayah of, and when he goes away, he strives throughout the land to cause corruption therein and destroy crops and animals, and Allah does not like corruption, within Surah Al-Baqarah verse 205. Another verse, Allah SWT says, who break the covenant of Allah after contracting it and serve that which Allah has ordered to be joined and cause corruption on earth, it is those who are the losers. Surah Al-Baqarah verse 27. Right? So what is the objective of this paper? Our paper aims to analyze the relationship between economic growth and corruption in sub-Saharan African countries, using indicators of corruption which are somehow better in reflecting the actual cases of corruption in modeling growth and corruption. Right? So the study also aims to improve the findings using instrumental variables to correct ingenuity bias using the generalized methods of moment, GMM, in our analysis of data. Right? So how do we do the analysis? So basically we employ data from 47 out of 50 sub-Saharan African countries, and we analyze the relationship between corruption and economic growth, where there are certain data such as real GDP per capita, real gross fixed capital formation, total labor force, research development expenditure, and corruption perception index. We transform it into natural log since all data are positive and non-zero or non-negative, right? So other data such as bribery incidents are not being transformed into natural log because they are data found to be zero. Log zero number or data is not defined mathematically, right? And then we get all of the data from the World Bank, right? So this is our model. Follows the Ni growth theory, that is the endogenous model, growth model proposed by Solo 1956, right? So from this equation, it says that ln y is equivalent to alpha plus beta 1 ln k plus beta 2 ln L plus beta 3 ln A plus beta 4 ln corruption, where we use ln natural log in order to get the coefficients as elasticity. Y is the real GDP, K is the capital, L is the labor, A as the technological advancement, and corruption. We use 7 indicators for corruption level, and within this model, it is expected that all coefficients are positive except for beta 4, where the beta 4 coefficient for the corruption level is expected to be negative. 7 indicators used in measuring the corruption. We look at the corruption perception index, ln CPI, BRAP I, the percentage of firms experiencing at least one BRAP payment request. BRAP D, percentage of public transaction where a gift or informal payments was requested. D for BRAP DEF, right? Percentage of firms expected to give gifts in meeting with tax officials, gift tax, right? Percentage of firms expected to give gifts to secure government contract, gift cont. Value of gift expected to secure a government contracts, right? Value gift. And finally, percentage of firms expected to give gifts to get an operating license, gift OL, right? So the model is analyzed using the ordinary least square method, OLS, and also GMM, right? So our finding and analysis using OLS, right? So if you could look at the table given, right? All variables of corruptions are insignificantly contributing to economic growth. Consistently, it is found that labor and capital contribute significantly to economic growth of sub-Saharan countries. The positive contribution of capital to real GDP per capita is expected and consistent to the theory of growth. We proceed with the findings using the GMM, Generalized Methods of Movements. So using this method, it could be concluded that the equations using bribery incidence, bribe I, bribery death, bribe D, percentage of firms expected to give gifts in meeting with tax officials, gift tax, and percentage of firms expected to give gifts to get an operating license, gift OL, have shown a negative relationship between corruption and economic growth significantly. In all cases, the significant coefficients shows that it indicates that any 1% increase in corruption will reduce economic growth by 0.01% in these countries. Right? The results infer that the most significant types of corruption in sub-Saharan African countries that directly give impact to economic growth are in form of informal gifts of public transactions and gifts to tax officials in meetings and to get operating licenses. The results are somehow supported by the statement of Transparency International that out of 10 countries considered most corrupt in the world, 6 are in sub-Saharan Africa, which is the results is worrisome, right? So as a conclusion, result supports the consensus among policymakers and scholars that the poor economic development in developing countries is influenced by factors including lack of proper policy, high corruption level, and poor quality of governance and institutional setup. So that's all from me. Thank you very much for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Mrs. Nur Hidayah for the very interesting presentation. So basically, the important point of her presentation is that there is a direct implication of corruption with economic growth, as the corruption, for example, when there is a weak governance structures, will be an hindrance to the economic growth of a particular country. Okay, next, I would like to introduce the second presenter, and the second presenter is Mrs. Nur Akilah Hazirah binti Muhammad Anim from University Science Islam Malaysia USIM, and the title of her presentation is The Role of Crowdfunding Platform Features as Driver of Muslim Donor Contribution Behavior in Sadaqah-Based Crowdfunding. It is my pleasure to invite the presentation from Mrs. Nur Akilah Hazirah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Akilah, PhD student in UiTM and also a graduate fellow from USIM. I wrote this article with my supervisor, Prof. Dr. Nur Asia Omar, a senior lecturer in Faculty Ekonomi dan Penulisan UiTM. So the research is related to crowdfunding, specifically on crowdfunding platforms' role and how it can attract a potential donor. This research mainly studied on Muslim donors and limited to Sedekah-based crowdfunding platform. So the introduction, the charitable practice is synonym with Muslim religious practice because Islam encourages such action. There are two types of charitable practice in Islam, which are obligatory and voluntarily. So obligatory, for example, is zakat, and voluntarily is sadaqah. So when we refer to the figure, charitable practice in Malaysia, Sedekah-based crowdfunding platform. So the introduction, the charitable practice is synonym with Muslim religious practice because Islam encourages such action. There are two types of charitable practice in Islam, which are obligatory and voluntarily. So obligatory, for example, is zakat, and voluntarily is sadaqah. So when we refer to the figure, charitable practice in Malaysia, Malaysia ranked number 10 in World Giving Index, ranking according to Charity Aid Foundation. So the practice of sadaqah is very synonym in Malaysia. However, even though people keen to give charity, the behavior are changing over time. Nowadays, people would like to know how their financial contribution will be utilized, and they want the freedom to choose the project they like to join, they like to be involved. And also, trust is one of the issues when involving financial contribution. So blessed with the financial technology, crowdfunding can curb the issue. So, however, crowdfunding also struggled to attract donors, as more than 50% of projects that attempted to request funds were failed. Then, we want to investigate the role of crowdfunding platform to attract donors. And also, there is the lack of research related to crowdfunding that specifically understand Muslim donors' behavior. The next slide on literature review. With financial technology, the introduction of sadaqah-based crowdfunding platform could promote the value of maqasid Shariah, as Muslims could easily access the platform and perform the donation. So these are the constructs involved in this study, which are utilitarian features, hedonic features, trust in platform, and intention to donate using crowdfunding platform. So I present the theoretical framework based on stimulus organism response model. The framework has 5 direct hypotheses and 2 mediating effects. Next, on the research method, the respondent only restricted to Muslims who are aware of crowdfunding activities and also aware with sadaqah-based crowdfunding platform. So consequently, I managed to collect 148 valid respondents. And I use virtual snowballing technique, and the respondent were approached via private message. So next on the result and findings, the result indicates that among 5 direct hypotheses, 3 hypotheses are supported. Meanwhile, the indirect relationship shows that the mediating effects of trust between utilitarian features and intention is supported. So the next slide on discussion and contribution. From the result, hedonic features is not supported. This is in line with Yassin and Al-Kiram 2018, hoping that hedonic features are some kind of distraction in online financial activities. And also, Hazari et al. 2017 also found whichever utilitarian and hedonic features are put together, utilitarian features will overpower hedonic features. And second, trust is a strong predictive of behavioral intention. And next, the study contributes into two perspectives, theoretically. First, theoretically, utilitarian features is critical compared to hedonic features. And trust towards the platform that remain as untouched area since the past research focus on trust towards the project owner and project credibility. Meanwhile, in managerial perspective, crowdfunding platform manager could improve their platform with reasonable features based on the findings. So in the article, I provide more theoretical and managerial contribution. Next, on the limitation and suggestion for future studies. This study invites future researchers to improve the current research based on these three specifications. First is demography. The respondents of these studies are mostly university students. So future studies should include a variety of respondent background as the finding will be more conclusive. Second, contextual. The next researcher can test the framework in other types of crowdfunding, such as equity and lending-based crowdfunding, because the motivation are different from donation-based crowdfunding. So it will provide other findings. And third, on the measurement. So trust in financial transaction and online activities is crucial. So because this study employ unidimensional, so the next study is recommended to apply multidimensional trust, multidimensional scale for trust in platform. So in conclusion, this study achieved their objective based on investigating the role of crowdfunding platform and the effects on Muslim donation intention using crowdfunding platform. And
full presentation. So based on her presentation, there are some interesting points that can be identified that strong influence towards the intention to donate the crowdfunding platform is based on trust, and the utilitarian features is a crucial factor compared to the hedonic features, which drives donor to contribute on crowdfunding platform. Okay, before I proceed with the third presenter, I would like to bring your attention that for this session, there will not be any Q&A session, but I would like to appreciate the questions being posed in the live chat. So those who have any queries can communicate directly to the authors related to the topics. Okay, moving on with the third presenter. I would like to introduce Ms. Tika Widyastuti from University of Airlangga, Indonesia. Okay, ni jauh sikit lah from our neighboring country. Okay, so today Mrs. Tika will be presenting on the topic of evaluation of productive zakat impact on mustahiq's welfare. Thus, we would like to warmly welcome the presentation from Mrs. Tika.
Yeah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. This morning I will presentation about our paper in ZAWFI conference. The title is Evaluation of Productive Zakat Impact on Mustahiq Welfare. The authors, me, Tika Widyastuti, ilmiawan awalin, Lina Nugraharani, and Muhammad Ubaidillah Al-Mustafa. We are from Islamic Economic Department, Faculty of Economic and Business, Universitas Airlangga in Indonesia. As an introduction, we know This is high poverty and income inequality remain essential issue in the world, especially for developing countries, including in Indonesia. From Badan Pusat Statistik and from towarddatascience.com, this is the profile of Indonesia poverty from headcount and poverty rate. And we note that in many Muslim countries, there are zakat institutions which contribute to the poverty reduction effort. From Zakat Law number 23 of years 2011, explain an application of zakat for consumptive spending and productive zakat activities. Productive zakat over a more significant impact on poverty alleviation than consumptive zakat in the long run. And a true evaluation is needed to support the application of productive zakat in increasing the welfare of mustahik. This is literature review. First, we must know about zakat productive or productive zakat. Productive zakat refers to zakat in form of asset, funds, capital assistance given to mustahik that are not spent directly on consumption of particular need but are developed and used to help their business so the recipient or mustahik can meet their basic daily need as continuously. And how about the concept of mustahik welfare? Welfare based on objective of Shariah refers to well-being, which reflect the fulfillment of basic needs, including material and spiritual needs, and the realization of these basic needs must accomplish the maintenance of 5 fundamental aspects: religion, soul, intellect, decency, and wealth to achieve world and hereafter happiness. And from that, we must know about the role of productive zakat in affecting mustahik welfare. From Nurzaman, Faisal, and Juliani, Pratama, Bek, and Arshanti find that productive zakat utilization program can increase mustahik welfare. The role of business assistantship in affecting mustahik welfare from Ibrahim and etc. Argue assistance to zakat recipient can increase effectiveness of productive zakat to achieve mustahik welfare. The role of income growth in affecting mustahik welfare based on Cahyadi and Tanjung state that development of mustahik business can significantly influence their welfare. This is the hypothesis. First, productive zakat positively determine the welfare of mustahik. Second, business assistantship positively determine the welfare of mustahik. The growth of income positively determine the welfare of mustahik, and the growth of income act as a moderating effect of business assistantship on welfare of mustahik. This is the research method. The study used quantitative research, PLS, and structural equation model, the variable productive zakat, business assistantship, to income growth, and to mustahik welfare. The variable to examine the determining factors of mustahik welfare, or MW, are productive zakat, PZ, growth of income, and business assistantship, like this model on the slide. Then data and characteristic of sample. The model used primary data from questionnaire of 38 mustahik respondents participated in the Zakat Empowerment Program from several Zakat institutions in Indonesia, consists of Yatim Mandiri, Dompet Du'afa, and Dompet Amanah Umat. We use purposive sampling. Mustahik have to receive Zakat Productive Empowerment Program from Zakat institution, especially in Indonesia, mustahik welfare. First hypothesis significant And another relationship not significant. Hypothesis 2, hypothesis 3, and the last hypothesis, business assistantship to income growth. This is the analysis. Productive zakat has a significant positive influence on mustahik welfare. Another result from Widyaningsi, Baik, and etc. who found a positive influence. Business assistantship has an insignificant effect on mustahik welfare and income growth. The insignificant effect of business assistantship oppose finding of Vidya Stuti, Adriyati, and Huda Bonanda, which found zakat assistantship play a significant role in determining the mustahik welfare. Income growth has an insignificant effect. The insignificant effect of income growth in affecting mustahik welfare also oppose Cahyadi finding and Tanjung, which show a positive relationship between business development and mustahik welfare. Okay, this is a conclusion. This study confirmed the role of zakat empowerment program in mustahik welfare, and the variable of income growth and business assistantship don't play a significant role in determining mustahik welfare, measure using both monetary and non-monetary aspect. Mustahik welfare is not only about economic aspect, but also consider other objective of maqasid, further the social restriction and physical distancing enforced by government-aided assistantship of zakat institution. So for the next research or further research, several variables may be introduced for further study in determining the level of welfare, such as economic condition, how much fund given to the mustahik, and the characteristic of the mustahik. I think that's all our presentation for this conference. I hope this material can deliver much benefit for us, and of course to develop Islamic economic knowledge or as a science. Thank you. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Ms. Tika Widyastuti for the very interesting presentation. So to conclude on her presentation, the presenter has pointed out that productive zakat empowerment by zakat institutions in the context of Indonesia is Basnas, improves the mustahik or the beneficiaries of zakat's welfare, and that there is a significant and positive effect between the two. For the fourth presenter, moving on to the fourth presenter, I would like to introduce Mrs. Amy Silviana binti Muhammad Zahid, from Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, ACIS, University Technology Mara, UiTM, but not from Shah Alam, from the northern state, of Malaysia, which is Pulau Pinang. So Mrs. Amy today will be presenting on the topic of the role of Lembaga Zakat Selangor on human development amongst asnaf, fakir and miskin. With that, let's give our full attention and welcome Ms. Amy Silviana for her presentation.
Saya Dr. Amy Silviana binti Muhammad Zahid daripada Universiti Teknologi Mara Cawangan Pulau Pinang. Pada hari ini saya akan membentangkan tajuk kajian kami iaitu peranan Lembaga Zakat Selangor terhadap pembangunan insan di kalangan asnaf fakir dan miskin. Berikut adalah isi kandungan yang saya akan bentangkan pada hari ini. Sebagai pengenalannya, pengurusan kutipan dan agihan zakat di negeri Selangor diuruskan oleh Lembaga Zakat Selangor. Peranan Lembaga Zakat Selangor dalam mengagihkan zakat meliputi 5 program utama iaitu program pembangunan ekonomi, sosial pendidikan, insan dan institusi agama. Penekanan kepada kelima-lima program ini memberi keseimbangan kepada jasmani, emosi, rohani dan intelek untuk membolehkan asnaf membangunkan diri dan jiwa mereka. Kalau melihat kepada permasalahan asnaf pada masa kini, segelintir asnaf fakir dan miskin ini menghadapi masalah nilai dan sikap. Ini berdasarkan kepada kajian dan penulisan terdahulu yang melihat bahawa golongan asnaf ini menghadapi masalah dari segi nilai dan sikap. Oleh yang demikian, kajian ini lebih memfokuskan kepada peranan lembaga zakat Selangor terhadap pembangunan insan di kalangan asnaf fakir dan miskin. Ini kerana pembangunan insan merangkumi semua aspek kehidupan insan, khususnya aspek spiritual. Pembangunan insan hanya boleh berlaku apabila setiap pembangunan yang dilakukan mesti dibangunkan spiritualnya terlebih dahulu. Jika dilihat kepada kajian literature, pembangunan spiritual ni merupakan pembangunan paling asas yang perlu dibangunkan sebelum pembangunan fizikal, kerana ia lebih sinonim lah dengan amalan mendekatkan diri kepada Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Kejayaan dan kecemerlangan hidup manusia pun adalah berpunca daripada aspek spiritual. Jadi ia bukan diukur melalui kekuatan fizikal semata-mata, tetapi perlu diimbangi dengan kekuatan spiritual. Terdapat kajian yang melihat betapa pentingnya spiritual dalam agihan dana zakat. Ini adalah para pengkaji yang menyatakan bahawa pentingnya spiritual dalam agihan dana zakat. Kemudian terdapat juga kajian yang mendapati hasil kejayaan asnaf adalah melalui pelaksanaan pembangunan spiritual. Ini adalah antara para pengkaji yang mendapati hasil kejayaan asnaf ni adalah kerana pelaksanaan pembangunan spiritual. Jadi metodologi kajian yang kami guna pakai adalah temu bual. Kami menemu bual 3 orang informal daripada kaki tangan lembaga zakat Selangor. Kemudian kami juga menggunakan kaedah pemerhatian. Jadi pemerhatian kami adalah di sekitar masjid lah, iaitu masjid di sekitar daerah di negeri Selangor. Untuk tujuan nak melihat gambaran sebenar aktiviti yang dilaksanakan oleh lembaga zakat Selangor. Kemudian kami juga mengedarkan soal selidik kepada asnaf lah, untuk melihat reaksi yang sebenar daripada mereka sebagai responden, dan soal selidik tersebut berbentuk open-ended. Jadi hasil daripada pengumpulan data kami mendapati bahawa program pembangunan insan ini adalah satu usaha lembaga zakat Selangor untuk membangunkan jiwa asnaf. Dan mereka meletakkan beberapa objektif lah. Dan daripada objektif ini mereka telah merangka beberapa langkah, iaitu ada 5 langkah strategi. Dan kelima-lima strategi ini dirangka oleh lembaga zakat Selangor sebagai satu usaha untuk pembasmian kemiskinan dalam tempoh jangka pendek dan juga panjang, serta mengkayakan jiwa asnaf. Dan lembaga zakat Selangor pernah memperkenalkan modul jiwa pada tahun 2004. Kemudian 2009 mereka lembaga zakat Selangor memperkenalkan modul hijrah. Yang mana kedua-dua modul ini adalah untuk meningkatkan amalan Quranian serta tunggak pengislahan diri. Dan setiap tahun pihak lembaga zakat Selangor telah memperuntukkan jumlah agihan zakat lah kepada program yang berada di bawah pembangunan insan. Dan program ini dilaksanakanlah di pusat latihan asnaf Selangor, di Uluyang Bulu Selangor, dan beberapa masjid lah di setiap daerah negeri Selangor. Jadi lembaga zakat Selangor memang memainkan peranan penting lah dalam menyediakan pelbagai aktiviti dan latihan untuk membangunkan diri asnaf. Tapi kerana isu sikat dan nilai, maka lembaga zakat Selangor memfokuskan kepada aspek spiritual. Dan hal ini ada dinyatakan dalam hasil temubual kami bersama 3 informal, yang mana mereka menyatakan bahawa lembaga zakat Selangor memang mengutamakan aspek spiritual terlebih dahulu, dan lembaga zakat Selangor memperkenalkanlah program tahsinul ibadah. Jadi program tahsinul ibadah ini adalah aktiviti menerangkan ilmu pengetahuan asas agama Islam lah dalam jiwa asnaf fakir dan miskin. Dan program ini adalah program wajib yang perlu diikuti oleh penerima zakat, yang menerima bantuan zakat ni, dan mereka kena mengikuti program ini selama 16 minggu. Pada hari Sabtu dan Ahad pada waktu yang telah ditetapkan. Dan hasil pemeriksaan kami mendapati tenaga pengajar cubalah menerapkan amalan spiritual lah kepada golongan asnaf ni, untuk mengujikan hati mereka daripada sifat mazmumah kepada yang lebih baiklah dengan sifat mahmudah. Ini adalah suasana lah program tahsinul ibadah yang kami pergilah. Kemudian hasil daripada soal selidik yang kami edarkan kepada golongan asnaf ni, kami mendapati bahawa golongan asnaf ni memang menerimalah program tasawuf ibadah ni dengan orang kata kesan yang positif. Mereka melahirkan rasa syukur, gembira kerana dipilihlah untuk mengikuti program ini, dan mereka merasai mereka taqarrub dengan Allah SWT ketika mengikuti program tersebut. Jadi jelaslah pihak lembaga zakat Selangor ni berjayalah melaksanakan peranan dan tanggungjawab mereka dalam membentuk pembangunan insan dari aspek spiritual di kalangan asnaf fakir dan miskin. Walau bagaimanapun ada beberapa penambahbaikan yang perlu dilakukan oleh lembaga zakat Selangor. Ini berdasarkan kepada cadangan daripada responden, iaitu aspek pengisian, tempoh masa dan aspek kemudahan atau persekitaran yang perlu dilihat oleh lembaga zakat Selangor. Berdasarkan pemerhatian kami pula, ada beberapa kelemahan yang perlu diberikan penambahbaikan kepada program tasawuf ibadah ni, iaitu tentang maklumat program tasawuf ibadah, iaitu tiada pendokumentasian, kemudian kaedah pengajaran dan pembelajaran perlu diseragamkan, kemudian pendekatan latihan amali bukan setakat fokus kepada ibadah solat, malah kena pelbagaikan latihan amali dalam hal ibadah yang lain. Kemudian yang keempat, para pengajar juga perlu mengadakan penilaian untuk melihat tahap pengetahuan bagi asnaf. Jadi kesimpulannya, hasil daripada kajian kami, jelaslah bahawa pembangunan spiritual ini adalah pembangunan paling asas. Kejayaan dan kecemerlangan hidup manusia pun adalah berpunca daripada aspek spiritual. Lembaga zakat Selangor memang menitik beratkan tentang soal spiritual asnaf di bawah program pembangunan insan. Jadi mereka perkenalkan program tasawuf ibadah, dan program tasawuf ibadah ni adalah satu inisiatif yang amat baik yang ditunjukkan serta dipertingkatkan dan perlu diperkembangkan dari masa ke semasa untuk mengubah nasib asnaf fakir dan miskin. Dan aspek spiritual ni harus dihayati dan menjadi amalan dalam setiap aspek kehidupan mereka, dan hasil dapatan kajian yang diperolehi dan cadangan yang dibuat oleh responden dan juga daripada pihak pengkaji dapat membantulah pihak lembaga zakat Selangor untuk membuat penambahbaikan program tasawuf ibadah, dan ini akan memberi manfaat kepada membentuk spiritual asnaf, dan malah golongan asnaf ni akan menghayatilah ilmu Islam dan jiwa Islami, dan setiap prinsip hidup asnaf ni akan bertepatanlah dengan kehendak akidah dan akhlak Islamiah. Itu saja daripada kami. Sekian, terima kasih.
Thank you to Dr. Amy Silviana for the very interesting presentation. So Dr. Amy has shared with us on the important aspect of human development, which has been emphasized by Lembaga Zakat Selangor, which is more on the spiritual aspect through the program Tahsinul Ibadat, rather than emphasizing on the material aspects, because the spiritual aspect is the basic foundation which will lead to the success of other aspects. Okay, all right. So I would like to thank those who are still with us. Okay, which I can see some of the response in the live chat to the presentation by the presenters today. Right. So moving on to the next presentation, which is the fifth presenter. Okay, this is the presenter is from Indonesia. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce Miss Novia Aryani from IPB University, Bogor, Indonesia. And the topic of Mrs. Novia Aryani today is the influence of internal and external factors towards zakat collection of Indonesia National Board of Zakat. Without further ado, I would like to invite Mrs. Novia Aryani for her presentation.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greeting from Indonesia. My name is Novia Aryani. Now I will present the result of my paper entitled The Influence of Internal and External Factors Towards Zakat Collection of Indonesia National Board of Zakat. And this is what my research has been looking at. So let's get started. Based on Law Number 23 of 2011, Zakat is an obligation on the asset of Muslim or companies that have fulfilled the requirement to be distributed to the recipient estate in the Islamic law. The official and the only agency appointed by the government to carry out the duties and function of Zakat management in Indonesia is National Board of Zakat, or we call it Basnas. Since its establishment, Basnas has shown its success in collecting Zakat funds, which is shown through an increase in the amount of Zakat funds collected each year, as shown in the figure beside. In addition, the increase in the amount of collected Zakat funds by Basnas during period 2011-2018 turned out to be still far below its potential is 233.8 trillion rupiah, or more than 16 billion US dollar. This potential is also supported by the population of Indonesia, which is dominated by Muslims. According to data from the Pew Research Center, Indonesia has a Muslim population of 219.96 million people, or 87.1% of the total population of Indonesia in 2015. However, this potential is not in line with the realization of the total national collected Zakat funds, which only reached 1.79% of its total potential, while the realization of the Basnas collected Zakat fund only reached 0.06% of its total potential. And based on the national Zakat statistical data which shown in the following figure, the amount of Zakat collection by central Basnas was still lower than the amount of Zakat collection by private Zakat institution, or we call it LAZ, during period 2015-2017. According to the result of research by Fendi, Anam, Novianti, and Mukhlis and Beck, organizational factors affected the community in carrying out Zakat. In addition, the result of Effendi's research showed that the economic performance in Indonesia influenced the collection of national Zakat funds. The Zakat collection of Basnas is lower than Zakat collection by LAZ. Furthermore, the studies suggest the imbalance between the potential and the realization of Zakat can be caused by Basnas' internal and external factors in collecting Zakat funds. This study aims to analyze the influence of internal and external factors on collecting Zakat funds by Basnas, and to analyzing the response of Zakat collection by Basnas variables to the shocks simulated from internal and external factors, as well as to analyze the contribution of each variable in explaining the variance of central Basnas Zakat collection funds. Let's move on to method section. This study uses secondary data types obtained from Basnas, PPS, World Bank, and Bank Indonesia. Time series data is used with monthly period from January 2011 to December 2018. The variables used in the study consist of Zakat collection of central Basnas, publication and documentation cost, UPZ dummy, digital Zakat Basnas dummy, IPI, CPI, gold price, and Bank Indonesia rate. This research uses quantitative analysis. Factor error correction model, or VECM, is used as the method of analysis, and the research model used in this study is as follows. So let's move on to result and discussion section. Here the estimation result of VECM. Based on the left table, it can be seen that there is a co-integration of errors that is statistically significant, and in the short term, only CPI variable has a significant effect towards Zakat collection of Basnas. And based on right table, it can be seen that in the long term, variables that significantly influence the Zakat collection of Basnas are cost of publication and documentation, IPI, CPI, and BI rate. The following figure shows the response of Zakat collection on shocks of internal factors. It can be seen that shock of the cost of publication and documentation and shocks in digital Zakat dummy will be responded positively by the Zakat collection by Basnas, while UPZ dummy shocks will be responded negatively by the Zakat collection of Basnas. The following figure shows the response of Basnas Zakat collection to shocks on external factor variables. It can be seen that shocks of IPI will be responded positively by the Zakat collection of Basnas. Besides that, shocks of CPI will be responded positively in the short term and negatively in the long term by the Zakat collection of Basnas. And on the third figure, we can see that gold price shocks will be responded negatively by Zakat collection, and the Zakat collection will positively respond to BI rate shocks. Here, the forecast error variance decomposition, or FEVD analysis result. FEVD analysis is conducted to show the contribution of each shock of variable. The following figure shows that overall the most contribute variable explaining the variance of Zakat collection of Basnas is the Zakat collection variable itself, with an average contribution of 60.14%. External factors are the factors that have the greatest contribution in influencing the zakat collection in business, with macroeconomic variables in the form of IPI. IPI variable contributes the second biggest contribution with an average contribution of 31.69%, and digital zakat dummy variable give the lowest contribution with an average contribution of 0.32%. Based on the result of data processing and discussion, conclusions that can be taken are: VECM estimation results show that in the short term, only CPI variable that has a significant effect on the zakat collection of business. In the long term, variables that have a significant effect consist of cost of publication and documentation, IPI, CPI, and BI rate. IRF results show that shocks of publication and documentation costs, digital dummy, IPI, and BI rate are responded positively by the zakat collection of business, while shocks of OPZ dummy, CPI, and gold prices responded negatively by the zakat collection of business. FEVD results indicate that external factors are the factors that have the greatest contribution in influencing the zakat collection in business, with macroeconomic variables in the form of IPI. So here's our recommendation, suggestion for business and other institutions to optimize zakat collection in Indonesia. The first suggestion is addressed to business as coordinator of zakat management in Indonesia. The recommendations are: the zakat collection of business is influenced by internal and external factors. Business needs to improve the composition of publication and documentation costs and analyze the risk analysis that can be caused by external factors in anticipation of rising CPI. In addition, the government and Bank Indonesia need to accelerate economic growth in the form of increasing IPI and increasing BI rate. So that's all my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Mrs. Novia Aryani for the very enlightening presentation. So it is interesting to note that the presenter has deliberated on the internal and external factors of zakat collection of Nasional Indonesia National Board of Zakat, okay, in which it is found that the Industrial Production Index, which is IPI, is a significant external factor which positively influences the collection of zakat. Okay, so before we proceed with the next presentation, we will have a short break. So let us enjoy a short video prepared by our team.
Anda mungkin tak sedar, setiap sisi kehidupan anda, kami ada bersama. Setiap langkah, setiap permulaan, setiap bahagian. Biar tinggi atau rendah, kita bersama tak kira di mana dengan rasa megah. Dengan tiap pulangan pelaburan, tiap keuntungan yang dikongsi, tiap bakat yang diasah, tiap rumah mampu milik yang dibina dan didiami, tiap bantuan yang dihulurkan, tiap senyuman buat pelanggan. Anda mungkin tak sedar, setiap sisi kehidupan di Malaysia, kami membantu melengkapkannya, mengimbangi, memperkasa, melindungi, memenuhi, membina kekayaan anda, membina kekayaan rakyat Malaysia. Kami, Permodalan Nasional Berhad, PNB.
Thank you for the video presentation, and I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Okay, so we have remaining 5 more presenters for the Best People Award. So I hope all of you are still okay. Maybe if you want to have a rest, you can, get some, water or something sweet to stay put for the last 5 remaining presenters. Okay, so the next presenter, the 6th presenter, I would like to introduce to you Ulfa Mansura binti Zainuddin. Okay, and Ulfa Mansura is from ACIS, okay, UiTM Shah Alam. So today, Mrs. Ulfa will be presenting on the topic of aligning the concept of digital philanthropy with Islamic ethics of technology. Thus, we would like to welcome Mrs. Ulfa for her presentation. Okay, due to some technical issues, we will proceed with the next presenter. Okay, I would like to introduce to you Assistant Professor Dr. Hamdino bin Hamdan, okay, from the Garden of Knowledge and Virtue, or commonly known as International Islamic University Malaysia, IIUM. And Dr. Hamdino will be presenting on the determinants of financial literacy among working local professional adults in the region of Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Thus, we would like to welcome the presentation of Dr. Hamdino bin Hamdan.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Alright, so welcome to ZAWFI 2020. My name is Hamdino bin Hamdan. So today I will present the topic of determinants of financial literacy among working local professional adult in the region of Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Let's move to the table of content. So we will start with introduction, followed by significance of study, objective of study, literature review, data analysis and discussion, and finally the conclusion. So, all right, as you all know, financial literacy is crucially important, right, to public workers due to their increasing financial responsibility and the challenging economic situation caused by new economic reform. In addition, it's essential for public workers to know how to plan for retirement, household budgeting, saving, debt management, investing, and preparing for unexpected future emergencies. So, and then the conversion to e-banking and online banking change the financial landscape in Saudi Arabia and make it more challenging, which increase the need for financial literacy. All right, so studies, right, done by, in terms of significance of study. So this study is important to help the public workers to understand the importance of financial literacy and the long-term financial skills they will gain from education and improving their financial knowledge. And it also will help the policymaker and government authority to enhance the degree of financial literacy among public sector workers, help the government to introduce more suitable and effective financial literacy programs to educate the public sector workers and improve their well-being, which will also relieve the government of a large financial burden. And finally, to help acknowledge the weaknesses among public sector workers and understand the best way to educate them. Right, so the objective of this study actually is the aim of this study is to investigate the determinant and the degree of financial literacy among public sector workers in the region of Mecca, Saudi Arabia. So the sub-objective of this study are to identify whether financial knowledge, financial behavior, financial attitude affect financial literacy among public workers in the region of Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Right. So the importance of financial literacy is growing, and the benefit of financial literacy has started to gather the attention of scholars, society, and organization. So there is a differing opinion on what constitutes financial literacy in literature, which lead to the absence of clear definition of financial literacy. So according to OECD, 2013 defined financial literacy as the ability to understand and develop the necessary skill and confidence to become more conscious about the financial product, risk, concept, and opportunities. So moreover, to form a sound financial decision and eventually achieve financial welfare. So Lusadi 2015 also defined it as the ability to make informed decision regarding that and how to apply basic financial knowledge about interest compounding based on everyday financial decision. Right. So there is a study being conducted by King Khalid Foundation 2018. Right, a study to examine financial inclusion in Saudi Arabia and how to reach excluded people. So research study focus on measuring the financial literacy among the adult population and compared with the other countries. It was found that only 31% of adults in Saudi Arabia are financially literate, whereas in Malaysia was 36%, but in Norway is as high as 71%. And then another finding is 6.9 million people are not financially included in Saudi Arabia as they do not have a bank account or any investment. And then women are also less educated individual, low income group, people outside workforce, and people living in rural and remote areas suffer financial exclusion, right? So the following slide is about the variables, right, that we use, right, to study, right, the relationship between the determinants, the variables, and also the financial literacy. So there are, right, actually financial knowledge, financial behavior, financial attitude, and also demographic determinant of financial literacy. So for financial knowledge, I can say and Messi agree that lack of knowledge and literacy in developing countries, especially among the poor, is a significant obstacle in the move towards full financial inclusion due to the unique nature of financial product and service offered by financial institutions. And then for financial behavior, it relate to the choices and decisions people make with regard to their finances. And lack of financial literacy result in overconfidence and behavior biases resulting from bad financial behavior, thus adversely impacting their financial well-being, right? Okay, and then for financial attitude is defined as a state of mind, opinion, and judgment of a person about finance. Right, a positive financial attitude leads to positive financial literacy. And then about the demographic, we have income, marital status, education level, gender, and also age. These are the variables that we're going to use, right, to test the relationship with the financial literacy. Alright, so for example, income in Saudi Arabia, 35% respondents living in rich household were literate, while only 37% of poor households in Saudi Arabia were financially literate. Alright, and then education level, study found that education level has the strongest impact on financial literacy, alright, when compared to other socio-demographic factors. So age also found that among the youth, the financial literacy level is low. Less than 1/3 of youth adult possess basic knowledge about financial concepts like inflation, interest rate, risk, diversification. Right, so for this research, we are using structured questionnaire. Right, so this study used survey methodology to accomplish to the study. So the survey data were collected using structured questionnaire as an instrument to evaluate the level of financial literacy. Right, so the total sample size for this study was 162. Right, so the determination of sample size based on statistical model presented by Kotari. Right, and then this study chose region of Mecca as a research area due to its geographical and economic importance. Right, okay. These are actually table 1, right? So table 1 actually illustrates the respondent demographic background based on gender, marital status, right, income, experience, and level of education, right? So, and then for the next table, right? So table 2, right? So this is about t-test analysis used to analyze the difference between gender and group in regards to financial literacy. So table 2 shows that there is no significant difference among male and female level, right, of financial literacy is an level of 0.05, right? And then that means this finding was not support the hypothesis, right? Okay, so and then table 3, right, shows the result of ANOVA. So ANOVA is a test used to analyze the differences between the group marital status, income level, education level with regards to financial literacy. So table 3 shows that there is a significant difference between different monthly income level between the education level at significant level of 0.05. Okay, so table 2 also show no significant differences between marital status and groups, right? So and then for table 3, okay, so this is table number 4. Okay, so it's about Pearson correlation coefficient analysis. So table 4 revealed that there is a high positive relationship among variables. Okay, and then for last table, right, table 5. Okay, so this is table 5. So table 5 is a multiple linear regression analysis, is to measure the effect of financial knowledge, financial behavior, financial attitude, and on financial literacy. Alright, so table 5 revealed that financial behavior and financial attitude have a significant level, alright, of less than 0.01. So and then additionally, financial attitude has the highest beta coefficient. So therefore, financial behavior and financial attitude positively affect financial literacy among public sector workers in region of Mecca. Right, and support the hypothesis. Right. So as a conclusion, all right. So as a conclusion, the result of the study shows that financial behavior and financial attitude are positive determinant affecting the financial literacy among the public sector workers of Mecca, Saudi Arabia. So and then the finding also shows above average degree of financial literacy among public sector workers in the region of Mecca, Saudi Arabia. All right. This study also has some limitation we need to be considered. Right, so public workers are majority of the labor force in Saudi Arabia. In order to get better result, it would be favorable to include private sector workers as well in the study. So the second limitation, the sample size 162 is considered small sample. So to come with more comprehensive result, a larger sample would be better for more accurate and reliable result. So final limitation is the small number of independent variables, right, used, right, for this study. All right. So I think that's all, okay, from me. Okay, so thank you very much. All right. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you to Dr. Hamdino for the wonderful presentation. Okay, based on the presentation, we could understand that financial behavior and financial attitude are the positively affecting the financial literacy of professional adults in Saudi Arabia, especially in the public sector. Okay, moving on to the eighth presenter. Okay, so the eighth presenter is my dear senior colleague, okay, an expert in Islamic banking and finance. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce Associate Professor Dr. Siti Khadijah Abdul Manan, okay, from ACIS, UiTM Shah Alam. Today, Dr. Siti Khadijah will be presenting her findings on the topic determinants for awareness to contribute in cash wakaf. With that, let's give our full attention to the presentation by Associate Professor Dr. Siti Khadijah Abdul Manan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. To the respected guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Siti Khadijah Abdul Manan. Today, I am going to present on determinant for awareness to contribute in cash wakaf. This particular study is a joint effort between me and my student, Ahmad Nazri Khamis. As an introduction, we know that waqaf is a form of perpetual charity or sadaqah jariyah in which, even though the contributor of the waqaf had already passed away, the reward is continuing eternally. Right? And of course, it is very much propagated in Islam. This is in line with the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which the Prophet said in translation, when a human being dies, his work for God comes to an end except for three: a lasting charity, knowledge that benefits others, and a good child who calls on God for his favor. Okay, so from this hadith, we could see that the first in the list is sadaqah jariyah. And of course, waqaf fall into this particular amal. Yeah. We know that there are so many benefits of waqaf, particularly cash waqaf. Yeah, among the benefit of cash waqaf is as a catalyst in socio-economic development, such as employment creation, poverty eradication, microfinance empowerment, infrastructure development, and many others. Okay, as an example here, Indonesia has dumped to AFA, yeah, in which the cash wakaf proceeds are used for various initiatives, including poverty alleviation programs, free medical services, educational and entrepreneurship development program. In Bangladesh, the Social Islamic Bank Limited has introduced a cash wakaf deposit scheme where the donors contribute cash wakaf as permanent deposits without any option for withdrawal. The seeding amounts remain, but the proceeds are utilized for microfinance empowerment. In Saudi Arabia, yeah, the iconic Zamzam Tower is indeed being built, yeah, using cash wakaf. Yeah. In Singapore, yeah, the collected cash wakaf amounting to 401 million ringgit had been used to construct 22 mosques in the country. And in our very own country, Malaysia, yeah, Jacob, yeah, for instance, yeah, through its arm, the Waqf and Nur Corporation Berhad has developed several public services using cash waqaf, including Waqf and Nur Hospital and Waqf and Nur Clinic. And we also have several other projects that were built using cash wakaf, including Grand Putri Hotel in Terengganu, Regency Seri Warisan Hotel in Taiping, and Pantai Putri Hotel in Tanjung Keling. Now, historically, cash wakaf can be traced back of its origin during the Ottoman Empire in the 15th century. And in our country, Malaysia, cash wakaf has been introduced by the Perak Islamic State Religious Council under Waqaf Regulation Control 1959. So, over here we can see that cash wakaf has been introduced in our country more than 60 years ago. But the question to ponder here is that why the amount of collected cash wakaf is still low in the country, even though Muslims population constitute the majority. Yeah, we have about 62% Muslim population, yeah, in our country, and there are 32 million total population. So 62% of the 32 million is equivalent to 19.8 million Muslims in the country. But throughout the record so far, the collected cash wakaf from the public were not exceeding 3 million in total. Okay, so over here, there could be factors that may influence the Muslims, yeah, to have the awareness to contribute for cash wakaf. Yeah, so here for this particular study, we aim at identifying the determinants for the awareness of the public in contributing for cash wakaf. We are using quantitative research method where the primary data were collected from the respondents using questionnaire. Okay, and due to time and budget constraints, we were collecting data only from those Muslims public in Shah Alam and Puncak Alam. And simple random sampling was used to draw the sample of the study. There are 5 independent variables being tested against the dependent variable. The 5 independent variables are understanding, trust, religiosity, promotion, and income level. And we are using multiple regression to test, yeah, the relationship between the independent variable with the dependent variable. And this is the outcome of the multiple regression. Okay, so from the table, we see that there are only 2 independent variables that have significant relation with the dependent variable. The 2 are understanding and religiosity. The rest of the variables, yeah, trust, income level, and promotion have no significant relation with awareness to contribute in cash wakaf. Okay, so in summary here, okay, we can see that hypothesis 1 and hypothesis 3 that test the relationship between understanding and religiosity with awareness to contribute to cash wakaf are significant. In other words, for the 2 hypotheses, we accept the alternative hypothesis and we reject the null. For the rest of the hypotheses, we have to accept the null hypothesis. All right. So, if we were to plug in the significant beta values into the estimated model, then we have this particular model where awareness is a function of understanding and religiosity. Okay, from this particular model, what we may infer is that any 1% increase in understanding of the public would contribute to 18.2% increase in awareness to contribute to cash wakaf. Similarly, any 1% increase in religiosity of the public would contribute to 63.4% awareness of the public to contribute to cash wakaf. So as the conclusion here, result of this study could imply that any effort to improve the understanding and religiosity of the Muslims in the country would significantly increase the collection of cash wakaf. So if we were to assume that 50% of the Muslim population in the country contribute just 1 ringgit a day for cash wakaf, which is equivalent to 30 ringgit a month for cash wakaf, we can estimate to collect 3.5 billion cash wakaf in a year. 3.5 billion ringgit cash wakaf in a year is a lot of money where we can actually do so many things from the cash. Okay, and of course, yeah, this would indeed contribute to the betterment of the socio-economy of our Muslim Ummah in the country. All right. So with that, I end my presentation with Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Associate Professor Dr. Siti Khadijah Abdul Manan for a very insightful presentation. So Dr. Siti Khadijah has pointed out that understanding and religiosity are the significant factors that influence contribution of cash wakaf. And these factors, okay, is expected to assist and to help the wakaf institution to understand more about the public to plan for strategic actions in order to increase the collection of cash wakaf. Okay, before we end with the three remaining presenters, let us enjoy a video by our collaborative partners.
Assalamualaikum. Buat apa tu? Dah follow FB Mawib? Type Majlis Agama Islam Wilayah Persekutuan dan klik pada butang like untuk follow, dan jangan lupa klik butang share pada setiap post Mawib. Mudah kan? Sumbangan kecil anda mampu memberikan impak yang besar.
Okay, moving on with the next presentation. The next presenter is Mrs. Aulia Anissa Lubis from IPB University Bogor, Indonesia. And Mrs. Aulia topic of presentation is on factors affecting disclosure of fraud in Islamic commercial banks in Indonesia from the year of 2014 to the year of 2018. Thus, we would like to warmly welcome the presentation from Mrs. Aulia Anissa.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Aulia Anissa Lubis from IPB University. Today I'm going to give a presentation about factors affecting disclosure of fraud in Islamic commercial banks in Indonesia from 2014 to 2018. Let me start by giving you some background. Islamic banks in Indonesia have fairly good growth. Seen from 2012 to 2019, the number of Islamic commercial banks in Indonesia recorded in the Financial Services Authority data has increased from 11 to 14, while the Shariah business unit has decreased from 24 units to 20 units. Based on a survey conducted by Association of Certified Fraud Examiners in Jakarta in 2016, banks and the financial industry in Indonesia are in the second position as the industry most disadvantaged due to fraud cases with a percentage of 15.9%. Islamic banks are banks that operate Shariah principle derived from the Al-Quran, Al-Hadith, and Ijma. But there is no guarantee that an institution is free from fraud. For example, Dubai Islamic Bank suffered a loss of around 3,000 billion US dollar due to error in financial statement. Fraud can be done by anyone, including workers, management, and even owners. Organizations generally have the strategies to reduce a risk of fraud. The first one by implementation of good corporate governance, the second one by implementation of whistleblowing system, and the third one by effective monitoring. Based on the background that have been described, the research questions to be examined in this study are as follows. The first one, how is the implementation of corporate governance and the whistleblowing system in Islamic banks in Indonesia? The second one is, what factors influence the disclosure of fraud in Islamic banks in Indonesia? Next, at this point, I'd like to talk about the type and sources data, data analyzing, and processing methods. In this study, the types of data used is secondary data in the form of panel data from 7 Islamic commercial banks from 2014 to 2018. The variables are used in this research are internal fraud, good corporate governance, whistleblowing system, and ineffective monitoring. In this study, the analytical methods that used is quantitative method using panel data regression analysis technique. Then, the research model to be used is as follows, where the dependent variable is the number of internal fraud and the independent variables are the whistleblowing system, good corporate governance, and ineffective monitoring. Next, the result and discussion will explain a little about the general descriptions of the implementation of good corporate governance in Islamic banks. All Islamic banks has implemented the good corporate governance, which contain the principle that must be applied in implementation of good corporate governance, such as transparency, accountability, responsibility, independency, and fairness. The principle of implementing good corporate governance apply to conventional banks and Islamic banks. But in Islamic banks, there is additional obligation to implement Shariah principle such as the application of the principle of Sidik, Tablik, Amanah, and Fatonah. Based on the result of the self-assessment conducted by 7 Islamic commercial banks in Indonesia, it can be seen that the implementation of Islamic banks' corporate governance is good. The bank with the best corporate governance implementation in 5 years is BCA Shariah in composite score of 1 from 2014 to 2018. The Good Corporate Governance Implementation Report also contains the amount of internal fraud committed by the Islamic bank's internal affairs. Internal fraud recorded in the Good Corporate Governance report is an act of fraud that causes a loss of at least 100 million rupiahs. The application of the whistleblowing system is a real form of implementing the good corporate governance application in applying the principle of transparency. As a company that is required to implement the good corporate governance, several Islamic banks has implemented the whistleblowing system in carrying out their management. The implementation of the whistleblowing system aims to increase the company's internal awareness of the importance of effort to prevent fraud. Based on the following table, it can be seen that Bank Syariah Mandiri is the bank with the highest number of reports. Next, analysis of factors affecting disclosure of fraud in Islamic commercial banks in Indonesia. The model estimation resulted in the coefficient of determination or R-square of 0.23 and 52, which means that about 23.52% of the dependent variable could be explained by the independent variable in the model, while 76.48% explained by other variables outside the model. From the table estimation result of panel data regression using pool least square, we can see that variable whistleblowing system and self-assessment result of good corporate governance implementation has a positive and significant impact to dependent variable. Next, conclusions and suggestion. In conclusions, let me sum up the main point starting with the first one. The implementation of good corporate governance has been carried out in all Islamic commercial banks in Indonesia, but not all Islamic banks has implemented a whistleblowing system as an effort to prevent fraud. The second one, The result of the analysis of the factors that affecting disclosure of fraud in Islamic banks in Indonesia show that the independent variable that have positive significant effect on the dependent variable are the good corporate governance variable and the application of the whistleblowing system. Meanwhile, the ineffective monitoring variable doesn't affect the variable dependent. Suggestion: Islamic banks in Indonesia need to implement a whistleblowing system as an effort to prevent fraud. This is evidenced by the whistleblowing system variable influencing the disclosure of fraud in Islamic banks. I think that's all that I can say to you. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to Mrs. Aulia Anisa for a very interesting presentation. So Mrs. Aulia has presented on a very significant finding that whistleblowing and good corporate governance are the positive factors on fraud disclosure of Islamic Commercial Bank in Indonesia. Moving on to the next presenter, okay, is my senior colleague, okay, from Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, UiTM Shah Alam, which is Dr. Najahuddin Latih. Today, Dr. Najahuddin will be presenting on a topic entitled Analysis Profile Pelaburan Emas di Malaysia menggunakan Person Items Distribution Map ataupun PIDM berdasarkan model Rush. With that, let's give our full attention to the presentation by Dr. Najahuddin Latih.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Kami ini membentangkan tajuk ketika bertajuk Analisis Profil Pelaburan Emas di Malaysia menggunakan Person Item Distribution Map PIDM model pengukuran Rush. Jadi untuk kertas ini kita ada kandungannya, ada 5 yang disertakan di sini. Jadi untuk pendahuluan, tujuan kajian ini adalah untuk menganalisis profil pelaburan emas yang ada di Malaysia ini dengan tumpuan kepada sejauh mana aras kepatuhan kepada item-item tersebut. Dengan data dikutip daripada 40 responden menggunakan instrumen ini sebagai soal sidik dan dianalisis menggunakan model Rush, menggunakan salah satu fungsi Rush iaitu melalui Person Item Distribution Map PIDM. Jadi kita ketahui asas pelaburan emas ni dia ada 2, satu tamasul dan keduanya at-taqabud. Taqabud yang disebutkan dalam hadis ini, az-zahabu bizahab ni yadan bidaidin. Yadan biyadin tu maksudnya sesuatu transaksi ataupun pelaburan emas mesti on the spot, la ni sama ada berbentuk bayaran tanpa hutang, mesti secara tunai tanpa tangguh, begitu juga serahan emas tanpa diberi penangguhan. Jika ada, itu dipanggil riba an-nasi'ah. Kemudian di dunia ini ada tiga panduan pelaburan emas. Yang pertamanya daripada JAKIM, yang keduanya daripada Najahuddin 2015 dan yang ketiga daripada ZAWFI. Dia punya syariah standardnya. Kajian ketiga-tiga ni melalui kajian pendidikan secara empirikal. Justru kajian ini akan ambil daripada instrumen IPAP yang ada di hadapan tuan-tuan yang boleh dilihat di lampiran kerja sebenar. Ada 32 item yang terdiri daripada 3 dimensi. Dari segi metodologi, kajian ini berbentuk survey menggunakan instrumen soal sidik respon tutup dengan skala Likert 4 point, ada 4 aras, sangat bersetuju, tidak bersetuju dan sangat tidak bersetuju, dengan diedarkan kepada 4 responden, 20 pelabur emas, 20 institusi pelaburan emas. Jadi responden 40 ini bagi analisa model RAS dia adalah mencukupi, berada pada aras confident melebihi 16 orang ataupun ada sekolah sebut 20 sampel ataupun 20 responden. Jadi data ini akan dianalisis menggunakan precision win step yang dicadangkan oleh ramai pendidik termasuk Mohd Daud dan juga arwah Dr. Azrila. Jadi ada 4 dapatan bagi kajian ini. Yang pertamanya, nilai pengasingan ataupun inspiration bagi item dan juga person adalah tinggi. Iaitu bagi item 4.27, melebihi aras 2 yang disebutkan oleh scholars, yang menunjukkan bahawa responden berupaya mengasingkan item. Manakala aras item ni ada 4 ni berjaya mengasingkan responden kepada 4. Jadi maksudnya dari segi ilmu rush, model rush boleh menafsirkan koordinasi antara person juga item. Person maksudnya responden, iaitu kebolehan responden. Item pula adalah soalan ataupun dalam kajian ini melihat kepada aras kesukaran soalan itu yang dijawab oleh responden. Jadi maksudnya item ini sangat sesuai. Yang keduanya, terdapat jurang yang luas antara maksima item dengan maksima person, iaitu di sini, yang menunjukkan kepada kita bahawa bagi setengah responden, dalam kes ni ada 3 responden yang tidak mempunyai item yang sangat sukar untuk diukur. Maksudnya dari segi kepatuhan kita akan jumpa bahawa semua responden atau 3 responden mematuhi semua kriteria pelaburan emas yang diletakkan. Kemudian yang ketiganya, kumpulan 1 iaitu iaitu item yang sangat sukar ni kita dapati ada 2 lompang. 2 lompang pada A5 dan juga pada A1. Yang membawa maksud dia melibatkan pelaburan emas ni di Malaysia ni dia kurang mengambil berat dari aspek perundangan. Sebab apa? Dua-dua ni ada kaitan dengan perundangan. Yang pertama, kebanyakan institusi pelaburan emas tidak mempunyai ahli penasihat syariah. Yang keduanya, pelaburan emas turut dibuka kepada orang yang bawah umur. Sebab apa? Sebab tidak tercatat bahawa had umur adalah pelabur 18 tahun. Ini penting. Yang ketiganya, kita dapati, yang keempatnya, item yang sangat mudah ni, berada pada min item bawah sekali dan juga min person, kita dapati ada 1, iaitu menunjukkan bahawa kedua-dua pihak, pelabur dan juga institusi mengetahui bahawa kadar timbangan emas adalah perlu diketahui, dan ini baiklah dari segi syariah compliant. Kemudian kita dapati bahawa aras kepatuhan syariah ni ada 4 aras, iaitu yang pelabur yang mematuhi semua syarat, semua kriteria ni hanya ada 6.3% saja, manakala yang sangat mudah untuk dipatuhi ataupun semua responden mematuhi perkara ini ada 3.1 saja. Secara umumnya pelabur emas di Malaysia ni lebih 50% adalah ke arah mematuhi syariah. Tapi hanya segintir saja, iaitu 6.3 saja yang benar-benar fully syariah compliant. Kemudian yang keduanya, pelabur mempunyai ruang yang luas di Malaysia untuk melabur emas, dan tapi kena pastilah medium yang pelaburan emas yang dimasuk itu adalah patuh syariah. Dan yang ketiganya, dicadangkan institusi pelaburan emas wajib mempunyai majlis penasihat syariah itu sendiri. Bank negara minta 2 orang, jadi kena patuhi. Kemudian pelanggan berumur 18 tahun mesti dicatatkan, sebab kalau kita ambil pelanggan di bawah 18 tahun, dia sebenarnya menyalahi dengan undang-undang. Di Malaysia ada Akta Kontrak 1950, ada Akta Umur Dewasa 1971 yang sebut umur dewasa adalah 18 tahun. ILO sendiri, Pertubuhan Buruh Antarabangsa sebut umur bekerja mesti 18 tahun ke atas. Jadi saya rasa masa tepat 7 minit. Jadi setakat itu saja, mudah-mudahan ada kebaikannya. Minta maaf atas barang kesalahan. Aku lihat hadza wa astaghfirullah li wa lakum. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Dr. Najahuddin for a very interesting presentation. So basically the presentation by Dr. Najah is very relevant to our time now, because with the pandemic of COVID-19, people are going more to the investment of gold. Okay, so basically the findings of Dr. Najah can be a guide for us in order to know, the right way to invest in gold. Okay, all right. So last but not least, I would like to introduce the reappearance again of Mrs. Ulfa Mansurah binti Zainuddin for her presentation on the topic of aligning the concept of digital philanthropy with Islamic ethics of technology.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I will be presenting on the topic of aligning the concept of digital philanthropy with Islamic ethics of technology. Okay, as an introduction, philanthropy is a universal concept in which it is relevant until now. Okay, technology has changed the interactions on how people deal with philanthropy. The approach of adapting digital or the technology in philanthropy has made it possible to reach a wider range of person and of course to commit to philanthropy in a better way. Technology plays a role in influencing a better strategic plan, in dealing with philanthropy. And technological change also results in a diverse mode of linkage and interconnection. This linkage and interconnection can be extended to be adapted in the practice of philanthropy. The practice of philanthropy nowadays, it is no longer confined to the traditional or conventional methods, but has extended to a more innovative methods in practicing philanthropy. So basically, when we talk about the concept of digital philanthropy, the meaning of digital philanthropy is establishment of internet-based methods. Alright, internet-based methods in which we can also infer it to include digital, implemented to ensure the success of a philanthropic organization. Also, basically, philanthropic organization here also includes the practice of philanthropy as a whole. Diagram, in the slides, actually the practice of philanthropy has evolved within time, in which traditional methods is in philanthropy 1.0, then evolved to philanthropy 2.0, in terms of the application of technology which is being used in philanthropy, philanthropy 3.0 where it is more to a larger population impact, and philanthropy 4.0 in which the practice of philanthropy is done in a complex approach. So basically, if we were to look at the evolution of philanthropy, we can see that technology plays an important role. So next, this is basically going to on how, what is actually the context or the scope of digital philanthropy. Usually when we talk about digital philanthropy, commonly people will only understood it as being involved with cash or monetary. The concept of digital philanthropy is adapted in a more holistic and comprehensive manner. For example, digital volunteerism, digital activism. This is only some of the examples, but basically my point is to show that when we talk about digital philanthropy, is not only related with monetary or cash aspects. It is more than that. As long as the person is promoting the concept of philanthropy, providing benefit to people, then we can actually infer or define it as also as a digital philanthropy. So the concept of Islamic ethics of technology, of course, when we talk about Islamic ethics of technology, it upholds the Tawhid as the principal foundation to lead someone on how they are going to actually use or apply the technology. When we talk about aligning the digital philanthropy with Islamic ethics of technology, we are actually trying to see on how the practice of digital philanthropy is to be in line with what is the principle in Islamic ethics of technology. So the first one is on Tawhidic consciousness. In order for a person to be able to use technology in a correct manner, this Tawhid consciousness will lead or will guide the person whether to do the right thing or whether not to do the wrong thing. And the second one is respect and protection against sense of honor, in which in the use of technology, it is very important for a person to respect and protect a person in the sense of honor, in terms of on how the communication is being done in the technological platform. Okay, the next one is protection from corrupted mind, in which it is very important when the adoption of technology is being done, that it is being protected from any corrupted minds or any negative thoughts, okay, as a result of adapting the technology. And the last one is protection from abuse of power, corruption of impropriety. So basically, when we talk about the use of technology, okay, it is very important that the protection of alman or property is to be upheld. For example, if you talk about cash contribution or monetary contribution, okay, it is very important for the money being collected is to be deal with integrity, is to be deal with good governance structure, to avoid the abuse of power, corruption and impropriety on the collected funds of cash or monetary. Conclusion is affirmative in aligning the concept of digital philanthropy with Islamic ethics of technology. Okay, but however, the issue here is basically aligning the concept of digital philanthropy and Islamic ethics in the practical aspect, in the reality. When we talk about theoretically, of course, we are to agree that the digital philanthropy must be in conformity with Islamic ethics of technology. But the issue here is to what extent that the practice of digital philanthropy in the reality would actually confirm or would actually adhere to the concept of Islamic ethics of technology. Okay, so because when we talk about philanthropy, the nobility and the good intention of the philanthropy should be protected, okay, and preserved to ensure that it is not tainted with elements that are against the principle of Shariah. So it is very important to ensure that the best interest and also avoiding harm is to be achieved in exercising this digital philanthropy platform. Okay, and of course, we cannot deny that there are some challenges in order to align with Islamic ethics of technology with the practice itself, okay, in which it is subject to monitoring and good governance of operation. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, with the presentation from Mrs. Ulfa Mansura, we have come to the end of the session. So again, I would like to congratulate all the participants selected as the Best Paper Award, and I would also like to congratulate all the participants who have successfully submitted their papers and presentation for this year's ZAWFI 2020. And I would also like to express my deepest appreciation for the audience, okay, to the remaining audience, okay, who has stayed until now, okay, till the end of the session, and may the session provide a new horizon of knowledge for further discourse and research for the betterment of the Ummah, inshallah. With that, I end the session with Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now I would pass back the floor to the Master of Ceremony, Ustaz Afiq. Back to you, Ustaz Afiq.
Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, saya baru sahaja selesai membayar zakat di kaunter wazan. Wazan ni dia menyediakan kaunter untuk bayaran wakaf, zakat dan juga sedekah. Ini adalah untuk memudahkan bayaran tuan-tuan dan puan-puan di luar sana. Setiap duit zakat tuan-tuan dan puan-puan akan diagihkan kepada asnaf dalam kalangan warga UiTM, khususnya para pelajarnya. Selain daripada itu, aktiviti pembangunan asnaf turut dianjurkan oleh wazan. Tahukah anda, seramai 13 pelajar asnaf telah pun bergraduat dengan first class honours, dan ini semua hasil duit zakat anda. Selain daripada pembiayaan beasiswa wakaf, bantuan rahmatan lil alamin untuk non-muslim, wazan juga melaksanakan projek-projek wakaf seperti wakaf fasiliti masjid, wakaf ambulans pusat kesihatan universiti dan banyak lagi. Wazan juga menerima bayaran secara online. Jadi kalau anda hendak membuat bayaran wakaf, zakat, boleh sahaja layari wazan.upm.edu.my. Jom kita beramai-ramai berwakaf, berzakat di wazan.
ZAWFI merupakan singkatan kepada Jabatan Wakaf, Zakat dan Haji yang menjadi asas kepada pembangunan sosio-ekonomi umat Islam. Di dalam bahasa Arab, ZAWFI membawa maksud permata yang berharga dan tinggi nilainya. Ia menjadi lambang harapan dalam usaha menjadi sebuah agensi terunggul ke arah jabatan kerajaan bertaraf dunia.
ZAWFI selaku agensi di peringkat persekutuan yang berfungsi untuk menyela, memantau dan menyaras semua urusan berkaitan wakaf, zakat dan haji termasuklah umrah.
ZAWFI telah diisytiharkan penubuhannya pada 27 Mac 2004 oleh mantan Perdana Menteri Tun Abdullah Ahmad Badawi. Penubuhan ZAWFI juga merupakan sebuah usaha kerajaan dalam memajukan harta umat Islam sebagai sumber kekayaan dan kekuatan ummah pada masa hadapan sesuai dengan objektif ZAWFI iaitu memperkasa dan memajukan pembangunan sosio-ekonomi ummah dalam bidang wakaf, zakat dan haji, umrah, mempertingkatkan takbir urus, meningkatkan kesedaran dan kefahaman masyarakat Islam serta menyuburkan dan membudayakan legasi dalam amalan berwakaf di kalangan masyarakat Malaysia. Sebagai sebuah jabatan yang bersifat penyelaras, cita-cita murni ZAWFI adalah untuk menjadi institusi yang berwibawa, cekap dan berkesan dalam pengurusan teras selaras dengan moto bersama membina tamadun ummah. Transformasi pembangunan hartanah wakaf yang dijalankan oleh ZAWFI telah direalisasikan melalui pelaksanaan projek-projek pembangunan bagi membantu golongan usahawan Muslim, fakir miskin, golongan orang kurang upaya, anak yatim dan asnaf. Antara projek di bawah teras wakaf adalah Pusat Kesihatan, Rumah Kebajikan, Ruang Niaga, Perhotelan. ZAWFI turut menerbitkan garis panduan dalam pengurusan wakaf sebagai rujukan kepada pihak-pihak yang berkepentingan selaras dengan peranan ZAWFI sebagai agensi yang menyelaras, memantau dan menyelia hal ehwal berkaitan wakaf di peringkat persekutuan. Teras ZAWFI yang kedua ialah Baitul Mal, Zakat dan Sumber Am. Sebagai penyelaras kepada pentadbiran zakat dan sumber am di negeri-negeri, pelbagai aktiviti telah digerakkan, antaranya kejayaan agensi kutipan dan agihan zakat dalam mengubah kehidupan golongan asnaf telah dipaparkan di dalam dokumentari 14 episod Al-Barakah Ikon Asnaf Zakat. Portal dan aplikasi mobile apps e-Khairat juga dibangunkan sebagai platform yang memberikan kemudahan dan manfaat kepada masyarakat supaya dapat mengesahkan status pungutan wang khairat yang diberikan kelulusan oleh Majlis Agama Islam Negeri atau Jabatan Agama Islam Negeri. Selain itu, konvoi kembara zakat juga dijalankan pada setiap tahun dengan kerjasama semua Majlis Agama Islam Negeri, MAIN dan Agensi Mengurus Zakat AMZ. Sambutan Bulan Zakat Kebangsaan BZK telah menghimpunkan para penggerak zakat dari seluruh negara termasuk amil-amil zakat dengan tujuan untuk meningkatkan jalinan kerjasama antara penggerak zakat, MAIN, AMZ dan ZAWFI. Teras ZAWFI yang ketiga iaitu Haji dan Umrah. ZAWFI merupakan penasihat kepada Yang Berhormat Menteri berkaitan urusan haji dan umrah di samping meneroka penambahbaikan berterusan dengan agensi teras seperti Kementerian Pelancongan dan Kebudayaan, Perlesenan Outbound dan Tabung Haji, Akta Tabung Haji. Jauha telah membina aplikasi mobile iUmrah dan portal M-Umrah untuk memudahkan rujukan dan carian maklumat berkaitan umrah dengan semakan agensi-agensi pengelola umrah yang mempunyai perjanjian dengan Kerajaan Arab Saudi. Ini sekaligus mengurangkan kes-kes penipuan umrah. Jauha juga turut menerbitkan manual berkaitan haji dan umrah sebagai bahan rujukan tambahan. Jauha telah menetapkan hala tuju impian Jauha 2020 untuk menjadi sebuah jabatan yang dapat memacu transformasi dan keunggulan di dalam segala teras. Bersama memantapkan Jauha.
Thank you very much, Ustazah Ulfa Rasulullah, for conducting the Best Paper Award session. Okay, I would like to make an announcement to all participants. Once again, I would like to remind all participants invited to fill up the registration form attached in Google Drive link at the link description that given. Secondly, e-certificate will be sent to the participant via email given. Thirdly, e-certificate for the presenters and Best Paper Award can be downloaded via system at www.zawfi.com. Ebook sponsored by Jauhar as conference giveaway can be downloaded using the link given on the YouTube Live. All participants may download the e-abstract of ZAWFI 2020 submitted paper at the link given as well. All of the ZAWFI 2020 video presentations can also be available to be viewed at ZAWFI official websites. And last but not least, and the most importantly, kindly to fill up ZAWFI 2020 evaluation form through the link that has been attached to the YouTube Live. Okay, and for reminder for your UiTM staff, please not forget to put in staff ID on the registration form. Okay. Okay. I think we have reached to the ending session for our program today. I would like to thank all of the honorable speakers for the opportunity to be with us in today. And then I would like to thank also our collaborative partners, our reviewer, all of the committee members for ZAWFI 2020, presenters, and to all participants, especially you who are watching live now. Thank you again for making ZAWFI 2020 a reality. For that, I, Muhammad Afiq bin Abdul Razak, on behalf of the organizer, would like to apologize for any inconvenience or any shortcomings during the session. So inshallah, we will meet again to the next ZAWFI 2021, inshallah. Jika ada umur yang panjang, jika ada rezeki. So with that note, I would like to end this session with Tazkiyah Kafarah and Suratul As. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wal as innal insana lafi khusr illa allazina amanu wa amilus solihati wa sabihat. Okay. With that note, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.